Yo, what's good, guys? We're back. We're back. What's up? How you guys doing? Immortal Rob, how you doing? We are back. So, chat, where we left off. Makito, what's up, bro? Where we left off, we were doing a live reaction to the this video by Kumo Bear called The Disappointing Decline of One Piece Post Time Skip. That's what the entire last stream was that we just did before this. And I was pretty much disagreeing with just about everything he said. Obsidian, how you doing, bro? Yeah, I was disagreeing with just about everything he said. And I got to the 20-minute, 27-second mark. And I was so annoyed that I just, like, I had to stop there. I had to stop there, bro. There was just too many hot takes back to back to back to back. It was just actual dog water. I could not continue it anymore. No insult to Kumo Bear, the actual YouTuber. He makes other videos that are really good, but I genuinely don't think he really paid much attention when he read One Piece. He probably skimmed it all, or is more just like into like the fights. He's not really like a fan of writing very much. So it is what it is there. But now we're gonna have the actual like debate portion. You said, are we finishing the video? Nah, man. I'm good on this video. I really can't withstand any more of it, because if I watch more of this video, we run the risk of me not being able to do a debate again. I mean, because I had to take a break to just chill out, because there was just so many hot takes back to back to back that it was actually just pissing me off. You know what? Maybe we can finish it. I gotta charge my phone up a little bit. It'll give more people time to hop in the chat anyway. So you know what? Why not? Because all I want to do now is I want to just have an actual debate with you guys discussing these ideas. That's what I wanted to do. To see if there was anyone who actually was agreeing with what Kumo Bear was saying. And if you do, this would be your chance to be able to speak in the stream itself. But you know what? Fine. We could go ahead and finish it. I got to charge up my phone a little bit anyway. So let me go ahead and let's just play this. Why not?
Smart and doesn't have a unique personality at all. It's just another big angry strong dude. The Flamingo was shitting his pants over this guy. And look, pre-time skip had a decent amount of villains that weren't that good or complex, but at least those characters weren't the main antagonists for 150 chapters. If a villain was bland or...
So, okay, the main appeal of Kaido is that he was like the definition of a raid boss. He fought like 30 people this arc and beat almost everybody. He served his role. He served his role.
Uninteresting, at least you knew that you wouldn't have to spend too much time with them.
And Kaido was very interesting. Just from the moment he was introduced, he's been interesting. Bro dropped from Sky Island to sea level, landed on his head, took no damage from it, and then announced the final war of One Piece. Like, he's interesting to me.
And you didn't have to wait like 50 years before Luffy finally beat them. It was actually pretty satisfying when Luffy won against Kuro. He's not that good.
It was crazy when Luffy beat Kaido. You see, like, these are the kind of the takes that were so annoying that I just couldn't really withstand it anymore, because it sounds like bro read the manga in like an afternoon and barely understood anything he read. That's just me being straight up honest on it. Kumo Bear, if you watch this, you make good content. I just don't think One Piece is the manga for you. That's all I think.
Great of a character, but at least the arc and Kuro's motivations were very clear and concise and didn't drag on forever. So when Luffy won, it felt like a satisfying enough moment. When he won against Kaido, I was just kind of checked out at that point.
Are you for real? Like, you see, these are crazy takes, brother. Like, it actually just gets annoying to hear these things, because it comes across as like you just didn't pay attention. I remember reading this. I vividly remember reading this chapter thinking like this was something truly special that I had just witnessed. I like remember it. Like, I was at my mom's house, like eating dinner at my mom's house. And I remember like after eating that food, sitting down and just thinking, all right, this is the final chapter of the fight, and sitting there reading it and just like absorbing it. Like, I remember this being a very incredible moment for me when I read it. Hold on, let me open up my other laptop too because hold up, let me grab this. Because I'm letting my phone charge so that I can have the debates with you guys. When I do the debates, I have like everyone else's audio play through my phone, so I have to let that charge. So I'm opening up my other laptop so I can see what you guys in the chat are saying right now. I actually can't see the chat from where I'm sitting. Give me 1 second because I want to see if you guys are saying anything. I'll let this play while I'm opening up the chat. Should be all right.
I just wanted to move on to the next arc. Like, Wano was foreshadowed since the dawn of time, and so was Kaido, to be honest. And once we finally get there, we get one of the most bland characters of all time to care about for 150 chapters. And it's not like Kaido's crew is much more interesting either.
Kaido was hyped to me, bro. Kaido was hyped. Tyshawn, what's up, bro? This video is called The Disappointing Decline of One Piece Post Time Skip. You should watch the stream before this one where I reacted to the first 20 minutes of it. It's just pretty much a 26-minute compilation of just One Piece hot takes. And it gets to the point where it's just like borderline rage bait, where this dude says stuff like Brook did nothing in Whole Cake Island and like says it with full seriousness. I had to stop the last stream because I was getting so pissed off I could barely think anymore. But yeah, if you want to see like the intro portion of that, you could go check out his actual video, or you could just watch the stream earlier. But I recommend go check out his actual video.
Guys just kind of suck. King is, I think, one of the more popular characters among the crew, and he has kind of a cool design, I guess. That's about it though. Kaido saved him when they were younger, so now he's forever loyal to him. Wow, that's so cool and interesting, man. And he also just doesn't do anything in the story. He stops Big Mom's crew and loses to Zoro. That's it. Then we have Kaido's...
I mean, what do you want from these guys, bro? Like, what does he want them to do? Like, so, like, he had earlier, he's comparing post-time skip to pre-time skip, right? Like, what would a pre-time skip equivalent of King be? Probably Mr. One. What did Mr. One do in the story that was so crazy? You know what? How is it a decline when it's the same things that were happening in the pre-time skip?
This left-hand man, Queen, and he is just so fucking whack, dude. And worst of all, we have...
You don't like Queen? I liked Queen. I thought Queen was actually very interesting because he was like, Queen's connected to Judge and Vegapunk. He was like part of that trio of scientists. He was rivals with them as scientists. So I thought he was actually interesting, and he's just funny.
Toby Ropo. I actually could not tell you anything about any of them. They joined the story at the very end just to all lose pretty easily. Man, okay, I've been really negative.
That goes to show how strong the Straw Hats are.
For a while, so time for some positives. I think the new Navy Admiral is pretty cool. He seems like a pretty fun villain. And now for my final criticism.
What? You don't like Fujitora? Nah, bro. I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's just I got nothing to say to this guy, bro. Like, what is he on about, man? Like, you're telling me that's the only thing you like in all of post time skip is Green Bull? These are the kind of takes, or these are the kind of takes why I stopped this stream last, because it's like, bro, it's just dumb. Like, that's a very dumb thing to say. Like, imagine you're talking to somebody, right? You're talking to someone who's read all of One Piece, and they're like, bro, my favorite thing in post time skip is Green Bull. I'd be like, bro, can you read, dog? Like, what are you talking about? Your favorite thing in post time skip is Green Bull. What about all of the insane things that happened in Wano, such as like us getting to see Roger's adventure, Roger clashing with Whitebeard, Roger seeing the One Piece treasure and laughing. That's the only info on the One Piece treasure we've gotten this whole time. Freaking the information that One Piece is a post-apocalyptic world that's about to hit another apocalypse. The mural, the new gears. We got Gear 4 and Gear 5 in post time skip. There's so much. whatever.
The art and paneling. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I really used to like the Straw Hat's new outfits and designs, but again, as I've gotten older, I've come to realize that they're kind of a downgrade. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji look fine, I guess. I mean, they're basically the same, but most of the other ones I think look worse. Again, they don't necessarily look bad, but just worse. Chopper got rid of his dad's hat and replaced it with a freaking diaper. Like, what? I like the idea for Usopp's new design, and generally I think it's pretty solid, but it's just not as good as the original one. Like, when I think of Usopp, I imagine this, not this. And Frankie got the...
Oh, I mean, I guess this just comes down to personal preference. I don't know. It just sounds like the preference of someone hating for no good reason, to be honest. I don't know.
Worst downgrade of all of them. I'm sorry, but he looks fucking ridiculous. I mean, Frankie always...
But Frankie changes his hair like every arc. That's like I think that's something kind of cool about him, is that he changes his hairstyle every arc. I think he's had an arc where he had this hairstyle again too.
This kind of looked a bit ridiculous, but he definitely had a certain style to him that only he could pull off. Now he just looks dumb. And Nobby and Robin, I can't even be down bad right now. They look so generic. They were so recognizable before, especially Robin with her hair. Now they look like they could be anyone. I've seen several...
In the current arc, Robin has changed her hairstyle back to what it was like pre-time skip too. That was like a big thing. She went back to her pre-time skip hair in this most recent arc.
You One Piece fans that can't tell the difference between Nami, Robin, and Boa, and one of the...
But why are you acting like that's not a pre-time skip thing, bro? Like, I'm sorry, like, this stuff gets annoying, bro. Yeah, exactly, back to getting mad. Alright, I gotta just let it play, whatever.
The most important thing...
But because he's acting like this just magically happened out of nowhere. Brother, I remember reading original One Piece, when you're reading it in the manga, there were so many panels where I didn't know if I was looking at Vivi or if I was looking at Nami. In the manga, bro. Pre-time skip, bro. I bet you... Well, let's see if he mentions that.
When it comes to character design, is how easy it is to recognize them. And it's especially hard to recognize them when they've been pushed into the corner of a really small panel with 10 speech bubbles. I talked about this a little bit in my...
So you're getting mad at Oda for having, like, dense chapters? For having a lot of things happen in a chapter, bro? Are we being for... Whatever, man.
Last video, but One Piece has some kind of bad paneling post-time skip. Most people are aware of this, but it took me a while before I realized, because it's a pretty gradual change. I have been reading both Dragon Ball and Berserk lately, so maybe I've been kind of spoiled in terms of paneling, but the first half of One Piece also has incredibly good paneling. Just like Dragon Ball, you can kind of just blitz through it because it's so engaging to read.
Alright, bro's legit... He's legit saying he doesn't like that it's like more detailed. Like he doesn't like that there's more things happening per chapter. Alright.
Open a new page and I'm glued to it and excited to read it. After the time skip, I turn a page and sigh because there is so much damn clutter and text and drawings crammed together.
It's just a lot of things happening, bro. That's not like... I'm not even going to reason with something like this.
As much as possible. And what this does is make the pacing bad. Moments are not allowed to breathe and exist for more than 2 seconds without there being 10 panels next to it that are related to something completely different. It's the equivalent of having
What is he talking about? We have double page spreads like for almost all of the big moments. Whatever, man.
Pacing in an anime or a TV show. I mean, it doesn't destroy your experience. Again, I want to make it clear that I still very much enjoy the post-time skip, and oftentimes the paneling is alright, but I can't remember the last time it was actually, like, good for more than 2 chapters.
Bro doesn't read this manga. I'm convinced, like, he skimmed the whole thing. Bro skimmed the whole thing. There's no way, like, he actually paid attention.
I mentioned at the beginning of
and like proof of that is like the stuff he was saying with Brooke.
Of the video that I struggled to find one overarching reason as to why I don't like the post-time skip as much, and that I had smaller and...
Oh yeah, Tayshawn, if he thinks One Piece chapters are dense, he would absolutely hate Hunter x Hunter. This guy would hate... He would probably just say Hunter x Hunter is trash. Because Hunter x Hunter is like twice as dense as One Piece is. And like, if you don't like the One Piece chapters, like, there's no way you're a Hunter x Hunter fan. There's just no way, bro.
More specific issues instead. But as I'm writing this video, I'm realizing that there is something that ties pretty much all of these things together. My one main reason for not liking the post time skip as much is because the post time skip does too much. The main crew has too many characters for all of them to get focused on. There are too many new side characters introduced, too many villains. All the designs are bigger and more detailed, but the pages of One Piece simply do not have space for that anymore because of how many characters it wants to have participate in the story at the same time. All the characters have more powers and stronger abilities, but now they don't have any incentive to get stronger anymore, and there's no longer any incentive.
They don't have any incentive to get stronger anymore. They're a Yonko crew, brother. They're still losing fights, bro. Usopp specifically needs to level up massively. Whatever, man.
Sense of progression between fights. All the arcs are now ridiculously long and cover so many different things, but One Piece rarely has villains that can be entertaining for that long. And one of the things that made East Blue so fun was that it was an adventure. One Piece is all about the journey after all, so when we stop at one place for too long, I just end up wanting to go to a new place. Water 7 is the second longest arc in One Piece.
But it's still an adventure though, bro. Like, I mean, like, the world building of each island itself is like crazy. Like Elbaf's world building is actually really insane. How they have like an underworld, they have like a normal world, and then they have like an upper world, and each layer is like its own realm, kind of, in terms of like the weather and stuff. It's pretty interesting. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. That's something.
One Piece, and it actually takes place before the time skip. But at least there you go to a completely different location in the middle of the arc. The new big and flashy parts of the stories I really liked as a kid just doesn't mesh well with this story. And it absolutely does not mesh well with the anime. You would think that the second half of One Piece, which has way faster pacing, would translate to faster pacing in the anime as well, but for some reason the opposite happened. But make sure to check out this video to hear.
Alright, well, I'm done with that. Okay, chat. Let's go ahead and have a debate on this. So, if you want to actually join, like, basically, if you agree with what that guy was saying or disagree with anything I was saying, and you do think One Piece has fallen off, we can debate that. Like, my stance on it is actually this. I do not think One Piece has fallen off. I think One Piece is one of, if not just actually the best shonen right now in terms of manga. And the lore in One Piece is so insane, the world building in One Piece is so insane, that I actually don't think One Piece will be surpassed as an overall product by any shonen series for at least another 20 years. That's my stance on it. If you disagree, which is pretty much the exact contrast of what that guy in the video was saying. He was pretty much saying he hates the post-time skip, thinks that it's just objectively worse than the pre-time skip. I think that the post-time skip's really good. So if you disagree with any of that, this is your chance to like debate that. So here's how you do it. Like, let's say you go to my channel, you click on the post tab, you scroll down, you look at this most recent post I did, you click on the comments, and then you click on this pinned comment here, and that will take you to the debate portion, okay? And then we can like discuss what you guys think about it. All right. So I'll just put up like a panel of or maybe I should have left Kumo Bear's video up while we have the debate. That way we could go to different points in it if you guys want me to. Was I just at it? I might have screwed up there. Whatever, it'll be all right. Let me just pull this up. We'll just have Odin over here, and let's do this debate. All right. Let's do this debate. So anyone who wants to join in. We'll start the debate portion right now. Let me grab my phone and we'll start it, all right? And let me put this other laptop over here so I can see what you guys are saying. Let me grab my phone. Hold on. Okay. You said I feel like One Piece has been running for too long. I don't, man, because it just keeps getting better, actually, in my opinion. Like, that's something about One Piece is that a lot of series that have been going this long, or even half as long as this, they reach a point where you're like, okay, it clearly peaked back here. Like, it clearly peaked already, and this is just not as good anymore. But in my opinion, when I'm reading One Piece, it feels like the best is yet to come. It feels like more and more crazy things are going to keep happening. But yeah, let me open up with best battle manga. No, I consider it one of the best overall shonens. Like in terms of like a total product. Okay, but I'm gonna open up the debate now. So let me see if anyone's in here already. Okay, we got one person in here. Okay, sick. Let's go ahead and start these. Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? Hello, are you able to hear me? Oh, hold on, it's quiet on my end. Let me see. Hello.
What's up, man?
It's very quiet. Maybe I have to leave and come back. Hold on, let me see. 1 second. Okay, let's see. All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's way better. Let me turn your audio up.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay, sick. So, Rio tier, you could go first, bro. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I think I should honestly go second because I haven't kept up with it a lot, and I joined very late into the stream, so I can get an idea of what the talking points are.
Okay, no worries.
But if someone else doesn't jump in, I can go first, no problem.
Okay, no worries. How about Skull Knight? I'm not sure who got in here at what time. Or maybe JB, were you here first? I don't know who was here before.
Right, let JB go first. Let him go first.
Okay, JB, how's it going, man? Hello, JB. Can you guys hear JB? I don't hear anything.
No, we cannot.
Okay. Maybe he has mic issues. All right, Skull Knight, you could.
I don't hear anything from here.
Okay, no worries. Skull Knight, you could go first, then, bro.
All right, so all right. So I'm gonna be honest. One Piece is my second favorite manga of all time. You can probably figure out Berserk is number one. So I'm just gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate here. So I think the main issue that most people have when they say One Piece falling off is when the Straw Hats are your favorite member of the crew, right? If you're your favorite part of the story. Because one of the main issues is Oda just has too many side characters occasionally. Like, really truly. Did we really need all nice scammers in Wano? I'm just saying. Because, like, back in the day, how often did side characters have, like, a full fight to themselves? Back in OG One Piece.
Sorry,
Think about it.
your mic was breaking up a bit. Were you saying that you were asking, like, how often in early One Piece did side characters have a whole fight to themselves?
Yeah, basically. Because really, truly, the Straw Hats don't have that much starring power anymore nowadays. Usually, when it comes to a new island, there's like a whole new character and they're like their main focus. Like, the whole reason why Water 7 was one of my favorite arcs was because Robin and Usopp and Frank were like the main focus of the arc. Like, even down to the Marineford War, where the whole focus was Luffy trying to save his older brother Ace, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting to see if you have like a counter to that.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, like, you're saying, like, are you saying that's a bad thing?
No, I'm saying that people kind of a disconnect when it comes to these new characters. Because, like, the Straw Hats, you know, is like the main driving force to it. While some people, they don't connect as much with Kevin on Momo. So I think Momo is cool. Just some people just don't connect with them as much as, like, the old crew.
So, who's an example of somebody in pre-time skip that they connected to?
Let's say like Vivi, for instance. Vivi, like the Alabasta art overall just wasn't really overstuffed with side characters. The main side characters were pretty much Vivi, her dad, the one rebel leader. Remember the one skinny guy that used to be fat? He gave the watch to Luffy. Like the story just wasn't as overstuffed as before.
So so if I'm understanding you right, you're saying like because there's so many characters in the post time skip, they're not getting as much. The side characters aren't getting as much time to shine as like they did in pre-time skip.
I feel like the side characters are taking up too much screen time compared to the
too
side crew. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, they're taking up too much.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say there.
Okay. I think I could see that a little bit. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, I guess a little bit. I mean, yeah, I guess so. A little bit, yeah. They're taking up some of the Straw Hat screen time. That's true.
The best Straw Hat arc so far right now is probably Whole Cake Island. Especially with how Sanji did to beat Big Mom with his cooking. Like he defeated the strongest character who just happened to be a woman, which is Best Town. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah, but it's like I don't really see these as bad things though, because like the side characters are interesting though. Like I like the side characters. And so I think just like to clarify it a bit, the video that I was reacting to, the main thing they were saying is that One Piece has fallen off in post time skip. And he was making a bunch of like really crazy claims. Like he was saying like, he said Brook didn't do anything in Whole Cake Island, which isn't true at all. He had a lot of good moments in Whole Cake Island. He said, I don't know, the dude said, the dude said so much stuff. It's like hard for me to remember everything he was saying. I might actually go back to the video and replay some of the points to see if more people agree with it. He was also saying he doesn't like Usopp's powers. He said he liked Usopp's powers back in pre-time skip, and he said he doesn't think that the characters are developing their abilities anymore, but that's just like blatantly wrong. He had a lot of like really crazy hot takes, to be honest. So I don't know. It would be better if someone who like actually was there in the first stream saw everything and agreed with some of his stuff could go. But were you not there in the first part?
Oh, I was there.
Oh, you were? Okay. I mean, was there anything he was saying that you agreed with?
Mostly just the extra characters, really and truly.
Okay.
Because really, truly, I don't think we needed out Scattering. So we could trim it down a bit. Like, did we need Astra and Doji? Really and truly.
Okay, so you're saying the thing you agreed with is that you think there's too many characters in post time skip, and it's making it so that the Straw Hats don't get the screen time they deserve, right? That's what your point is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically that.
Okay, I can kind of.
I guess one of my favorite new arcs right there. Like the Vegapunk didn't really take that much, besides his little ending speech, and even then.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I can kind of agree with that. I guess so, but it like doesn't take away from One Piece for me, because the side characters themselves are pretty cool too. And like developing the Straw Hats, that wasn't a strong suit pre-time skip either. They like barely change. So I don't really see that as a negative. It's like in pre-time skip, the Straw Hats more or less barely changed at all. They just kind of stayed exactly the same with very, very minute differences, like almost none. So like, I don't really mind seeing other characters do stuff. The Straw Hats are still getting like moments to shine.
All right then. So, does anyone else have any points on standby? I kind of want to head out now.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
Okay, yeah, JB, I can hear you now. Here, let me turn your mic up more. But yeah, thanks for sharing, Skull. Thanks for that. But yeah, JB, what points do you have, man?
So, I really liked the first half of One Piece. And like I'm at Whole Cake Island right now, so I'm not finished yet. But when I came into the second half of the Grand Line, it was just like, oh, I'm hyped, yeah, I'm here now. Now it's getting good, and it's like, it is really, I think it was just, I didn't expect that in the second half of the Grand Line there is so much happening. So I thought it was more like, okay, the East Blue or West Blue, whatever, is like a tutorial. Then the first half of the Grand Line is like the first part, like where everything opens up and stuff. And like the second half of the Grand Line is like when it ends. But now I like came into the second part, and it's really like there is now so much new things and stuff, and it really felt like so disappointing because it was like, okay, it's going to end now, but it's like, no, it's just it's hard to explain, but like the things I wanted to say is like, it feels the entire story of One Piece is just in a complete stall. Like there is so much that is happening that could just be left out. It's just like designed to steal all your time.
So, I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's so hard to explain what I meant. Right now I did a really bad job, I think. But just what I basically wanted to say is like after I came to the second half of the Grand Line, it was basically what I wanted to say is like, yeah, it's just I don't like the pacing, not of the anime but of the story itself. Like there is way too much that is just not important, and it's still like coming and stuff, and there is way much of that in the second half of the Grand Line than is in the first half. I feel like there is like so much that is just not important that is happening and that you see that just could have been left out, and it wouldn't matter.
How far are you in Whole Cake right now?
Pretty much at the beginning.
Okay. So like,
Yeah.
I forget. Is that after? You saw Dressrosa already, right?
The internet is lagging right now. Can you repeat?
You already read Dressrosa too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, you haven't seen that much of the time skip yet. Like, I don't think you're even halfway through it. You might be like 35% through it. So, I mean, if you compare the first 35% of the pre-time skip, you might be able to make kind of the same arguments. Like, do you really think they needed to explain all the stuff in Syrup Village? Like, some people think Syrup Village went on a little too long. Like Usopp's Island arc.
I mean, like, if we're talking like, what is it called? West Blue or East Blue or what was it called?
East Blue.
East Blue, yeah. East Blue in general is like, it's very short. Like, even if Syrup Village was pretty long and longer than it should have been, it's still like nothing compared to how long Dressrosa was, how long.
Well, I think what would be better, like, so you're saying like there's a lot of stuff that's happening in post time skip that just doesn't need to be spoken about. Could you give like some examples of what you're referring to?
Yeah, sure. Like one example was like when on where was it? Like in Punk Hazard. Was it? I think it's called Punk Hazard or something like that. There was like there was so much, like, I can't even remember it because I forgot everything. But I could, theoretically, if I write a script, sum up everything that happened in Punk Hazard in about 5 minutes. I could tell everything in about 5 minutes, and that's like all the important stuff. And the rest, I feel like, was just really, it felt so much like filler.
But like, can you give an example of what you're talking about? Like, what was filler?
Like, for example, they stranded there, and then they were like, no, I really can't remember it that good. So
that's all right. I mean, well, here's the thing. Like, Punk Hazard, I'd say, is one of the weakest arcs in post time skip. But even in Punk Hazard, they had like a lot of interesting stuff still happen. But like,
yeah,
like for example, in Punk Hazard, you find out that Akainu and Aokiji fought each other for 10 days, and one of them became the fleet admiral. You find out about that.
Yeah, that's like mentioned in like 10 seconds of the entire arc, and the rest is like boring, you know.
I mean, yeah, Punk Hazard is not that great of an arc, but I mean, stuff still happens in it though. But it's like,
yeah, that's true. Like, I know it's still happening stuff, but it feels like the most things that are happening, like since I came to the second half of the Grand Line, are just like more of that stuff that is cool, like for reading it, for like in the moment, or for watching it or whatever. But it's not important to the story.
Well, that's why I want you to like list examples, because what One Piece does a lot is that it will explain things now and then they become important later. That happens a lot. Like for example, in hold on, let me give this example. Like when you read Dressrosa, I remember reading it thinking that the Colosseum battles were taking too long, that we were spending too much time on all of these Colosseum fighters. And then when the Colosseum fighters were fighting Doflamingo's family, I'm like, this is a waste of time. I don't want to see any of this. And then the last chapters of the arc, they all become the Grand Fleet. And then you realize you were watching Luffy's Grand Fleet versus the Doflamingo family the entire time. That's like actually an epic like war arc when you think about it. So I would argue that a lot of the things you're saying don't matter. They do matter. You just haven't read enough to know that they matter yet. That would be my argument, because you're not listing examples. But Punk Hazard, I will just go ahead and admit, Punk Hazard is one of the weakest arcs in post time skip.
Yeah, and like it's hard for me to explain, but like I never heard of like One Piece got weak or something, but I just came into the second part and it just felt like really off. It was like I can't really explain it.
That's okay.
Why I think we just switched up, but I really felt like it was just so many things that are not important took more time than the things that were actually important. You know, it felt like the opposite of what it should be.
Yeah,
like,
I would just...
The things that are actually important should take more of the reader's time than the things that are not important at all.
I would just like some more examples, like...
For example, like... I remember in Punk Hazard...
Yeah, I mean, Punk Hazard is not the best arc, to be honest. Like I've been saying.
Should I think about something in Dressrosa, maybe?
Yeah, how about Dressrosa? What do you have from there?
Okay. For example, the what are they called? The mini guys.
The Tontadas?
Like yeah. It was really crazy how you have like these fairies or whatever, and they live there in the forest, and you know, like, they were once enslaved by like the ones from the Dressrosa family, but way before, and then like the other family took over the island, and then they were like more free and whatever, and then they came back, like the backstory of them. And it was really, really short. Like, it felt like everything was explained in about 20 seconds of that, what happened to them, and like, and you just had to like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what happened with them in the backstory, and that's why they now want to be free again or whatever. And that took like really not a long time, and that was pretty important for like the fairies themselves. And then it was so much time how they like Usopp and I don't know, was it Robin or someone else who got captured by them, and there was like only that short time where they were like captured in the forest, and Law fought against the
Fuji or
pink guy.
Doflamingo.
Yeah, exactly. And all that that wasn't that important. Other than like, oh, he's our king and he's lying and whatever. That alone took way more time than like the backstory. That was like such a short part.
Well, I would say like, so my counter to that is like, for one, I'm happy that the Tontatas didn't get that much time because I didn't find them that interesting. Like, we learned enough about them that they're like considered like mythological fairies on Dressrosa. I thought that on its own is pretty interesting. And then we like see a little bit about them and just enough to know Leo, who's the guy who becomes part of Luffy's fleet. So I think that's fine. And that like they all have like superhuman strength and stuff. I think that's fine on its own. And then when we get to like the Law Doflamingo fight, that was just like the intro level fight of the arc. Like, they have a more extended fight later. The other thing is like One Piece is more a story driven manga anyway, rather than like a pure battle shown in like Jujutsu Kaisen, for example. But JB, those are good points. I'm gonna let someone else share a bit too. But thank you for sharing your points. Real quick, I was seeing in the comments a comment from Sean. He was saying Wano was disappointing. If Oda didn't change it up in the post-time skip, One Piece would be in a worse place. He also left another comment about Wano. He said, Wano put a stain on Oda's reputation like no other arc. You can enjoy the arc, but there's almost no other way of seeing the arc besides disappointment. I'm not sure, like, Sean, if you can join the debate, I'd like to hear you explain that. Because I'm interested on, like, how people could even have that take, to be honest. Because, in my opinion, Wano's excellent, bro. Like, I've been saying it throughout the stream. I said it a bunch of times on the last stream. I'll say it one more time here. Wano is just crazy. Like, in Wano, we get to see Roger fight Prime Whitebeard. We get to see Roger's journey to Sky Island. We get to see Roger like writing like poneglyph messages. We get to see part of the Joy Boy prophecy, like Odin reading it off. We get to see that Roger, and Odin both have the voice of all things. We get to see Odin fight Kaido. We get to see Roger finding the freaking One Piece. It's like, I'm not really sure how people can read Wano and say they didn't like it. That doesn't really make logical sense to me. That take has never made sense to me, because it's like, Wano has legitimately some of the craziest moments in One Piece, actually. So I've never really understood that take. Also, we get like Advanced Conquerors Hockey. We get so much stuff in there. So I don't really know where that take comes from. But who would like to go next? Either Rio or Voidmaker? Who would?
Yeah, I can try.
Okay, yeah, Rio.
So,
all right, I'll go next.
Okay. So Rio,
so
yeah, what's your points, man?
Do you only want to hear about post-time skip? Because I have like problems in general with One Piece. What made me fall out of love for One Piece, you know?
Yeah, I would like to say I'd like us to talk mostly about post-time skip, because like the video that we started by reacting to was saying that pre-time skip was just, well, no, his video was that post-time skip is like a lot worse than pre-time skip.
Yeah, so it went downhill. So maybe I can give like maybe an example or something why it went downhill or how it went downhill.
And-
Because
and-
I think it went.
And I do want to hear that just 1 second. I see someone in the chat. He said, just came to say the truth. One Piece fell off. You should hop in the chat, dude. You should hop in the chat because, like, right before I let you go, Rio, a common thing I've seen, guys. I'll just be real honest here. A common thing I've seen is that One Piece is more popular than most of your favorite manga, and a lot of people don't like that. So like they just throw hate at it, but they don't really have any good arguments to back up their point. So that's kind of the vibe I get from UA. One Piece is probably more popular than whatever your favorite manga is. But if you actually have some good points, share them. Share them in it's an open debate. You're allowed to hop in and join, but I don't know if you have anything to back that up. But you're welcome to join. You're welcome to join. So Ryu, go ahead. Go ahead and share your points.
Okay, so I'm limited to only post time skip, right? Why it's not so good? Or why it went downhill?
Yeah, I mean, you could just say like you said you think One Piece went downhill post time skip, and you could just like explain like why you think that. That'd be good.
Well, I think in general because in the beginning it had, correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't watched it in a long time. I only know a few things about like the most recent stuff. But
well, how far did you get in post time skip?
Like Wano, past Wano a little bit, but I'm not watching it anymore, So,
Okay.
So pretty far, I think.
Okay. Do you mind if I spoil things?
No, you can spoil me.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So obviously, I think pre-time skip had a lot of issues, with the common things like the red. I think they are retcons. Obviously, you can say. It might be information that can fill in like the past of someone else in the future, but I think most of it is retcons, like Shanks losing his arm, Haki, a lot of power scaling issues too. I don't know if you want to talk about like power scaling, if that makes sense.
Wait, so you're saying like one of your issues is like Shanks shouldn't have lost his arm. He should have just used Haki and been.
I think the reason is not good enough. I think the reason is not. He can lose his arm, but like. To say like 300, 400, like not even like 700 chapters later, I gave it for the future. Like that's, I don't know. It doesn't sound like a good answer to me.
Well, I mean, it was pretty obvious. He was just more focused on saving Luffy. He didn't think about himself at all. That's why.
Let's be honest. Someone with his level of like combat experience and Haki, a sea beast shouldn't do that to him. Like even if he wasn't focused, Like if you think,
I mean, I
if
think
Whitebeard was in his sleep, like that fish isn't gonna chop his arm off,
I mean, like if he's completely asleep and it just bites his arm, maybe, yeah, probably.
I don't know, man. But it's whatever,
I mean, I don't really think that that's a big deal at all, though, because it was literally chapter 1, and the whole point was just showing like Shanks cares about Luffy more than he cares about like himself. That was like the message of that scene. And that's
my point is like it's a weak answer, I think it could have been better,
But I mean that's like the message of the scene though. Like that's why they have like it's like a symbolic thing. It was done to like have an emotional symbolic reason. That's why like Shanks's arm is missing. Shanks should be the one who's like in serious pain, right? But Luffy's crying and Shanks is like, "Oh, as long as you're good, I'm fine." That's like it's supposed to be an emotional moment. So like, I mean, would you have rather Shanks just like taken no damage and Luffy's just crying for no reason?
No. I think to convey that message that you're describing, he could have written something better. That's my point.
What else could he have written?
I'm not a writer, but I just didn't buy it. I didn't buy the answer, and you can spoil me, but like someone said, his arm that he lost was like a regeneration arm or something.
No. He can't regenerate anything now.
He's also like special or something in like a royal group or something. Anyways, that doesn't matter. It's just one of the points. I also didn't like Luffy versus Crocodile.
Wait, but these are all like pre-time skip. Like so, like how did One Piece fall off if you didn't like it from the beginning?
Oh yeah. So just to describe it shortly, I think it fell off at the moment that everyone was like a little bit. It felt like everyone was a chosen one, you know, in the crew. It didn't feel like a random group of pirates, like how it felt before. That would be my biggest.
But how is like? Well, hold on. Like, I mean, it's pretty obvious from the beginning that they're special. Like, Luffy,
Yeah, but
you can tell
special
by
to
the size of.
point of where they special is insane. Like Luffy, let me just paint a picture, okay? So I get like main character, like Gon, you know, son of Jin, one of the best hunters, sure, but it doesn't give him like special powers or something. You know, he kind of earns the power he gains in the series. Luffy does too, but post time skip, it just felt a little bit unearned because
Wait, what exactly felt unearned?
um, like let's say like the Joy Boy stuff, you know.
What about
I
the
did-
Joy
I
Boy
re-
stuff?
Well, because of the condition, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when he died against Kaido, it triggered the Joy Boy inside him, right? And that triggered Gear 5. Gear 5.
So there's still a mystery.
You know what I mean?
There's still a mystery
Yeah.
around why that happened. Like, we don't even. So I don't think you. I don't know. Maybe you're having like a misunderstanding of like what the Joy Boy prophecy is. Maybe that's what it
Yeah,
is.
you can correct me. You can correct me.
Yeah, maybe that's. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But like, the Joy Boy prophecy is a promise that Joy Boy left to the fishmen. Like, it's written on the poneglyphs that Joy Boy said like he was trying to do something for the fishmen and he failed to do it. And like, Luffy is not really Joy Boy. He's considered like the next Joy Boy in quotations because
Hey, he's carrying the will. Like
well, yeah, well, no, it's because he's going to succeed where Joy Boy failed, most likely. That's all that means.
Yeah, but
What's
like,
wrong
the
with
activation of
that?
his devil fruit, like the activation of his devil fruit, is what I'm
it-
kind of having an issue with.
Why?
Because can you confirm like it was his death versus Kaido that triggered it, right?
Yeah, they don't really know. Like, it's still a mystery. We don't know why that happened because it's just his fruit awakening. So, like, here's a couple things. Luffy, he actually awakened his fruit last out of all of his rivals. So, like, Kid awakened his fruit before he did. Law awakened his fruit before he did. There's a chance that even Brook might have awoken his fruit before Luffy did with, like, his ability to astral project himself, but that's, like, a theory. And Luffy like trained harder than these guys did. He trained with like the right hand man of the Pirate King for 2.5 years, like nearly died a bunch of times, went through Impel Down, went through Marineford, all this stuff, and still awakened last. And he died before he awoke. And we don't even understand like why that happened. That like his power up itself is still a mystery. There's not an answer to it yet. We don't like as far as we know, he's the only one who died before his fruit awoken. It might have actually awoken before that, but he couldn't like access the power until he died. So there's still mystery around it. And I actually think that's one of the coolest things. I've never seen a series do that, where their end game power up still has mysteries around it. Like, so I don't really see an issue with any of that.
It's like semi conditional. Like the semi condition is he has to like be in such a situation, right? Like.
Well, we don't know.
Well, if you had to hedge your bets, like if you had to bet right now, like it's highly probable that death, because it never happened before.
It's not it's not probable. We literally don't know, man. It's a mystery. Like
how can it not be probable if that's literally what happened? You know.
Well,
you
okay,
can say
so
it was something else.
So here's the thing. He's almost died countless times throughout the series, bro.
Yeah,
so
not like that.
Okay, so here's the thing. What it seems like. The most logical answer to me, it seems like if you have the gum fruit, you have to like get insanely powerful using the like one of the worst fruits in the world. It's kind of like a Magikarp Gyarados situation, where that fruit is actually useless to 99.9% of human beings. Like, if you pay attention in the early series, when Luffy got the gum fruit, he couldn't even throw a punch with it. Like, it was trash, and it was constantly stated like that fruit is not designed for fighting. It's garbage. And Luffy had to just develop superhuman strength before he could even throw a punch. Like, it was a very bad fruit. No one wants that. And it's also shown like Luffy's probably not even the first person to get this fruit in 800 years. The fruit's been around for 800 years. Other people most likely have been eating it, dying with it, and not awakening. So what it seems like is that you need to grind like to level 99 with the worst fruit out there, then die. Then you can awaken into Joy Boy. There might awaken into Gear 5. And there might also be other prerequisites that we don't even know. It's still a mystery.
That could be like interpretation. That's fair, but I think
It's
what's
the-
more
I say-
likely is you need to inherit his will. You have to be like a liberation type of person, that lives up to like what Joy Boy used to be and what people believe Joy Boy was, and then die. When you
I don't think it's just dying. It seems like it's also strength, because like you have to think there's been 800 years that have passed from the time Joy Boy died with the fruit to when Luffy got it. 800 years. You're telling me you don't think in
But
800
how many people have those personalities?
I mean, in One Piece right now there's like 10 in this one generation.
Yes, but this generation, like, that's one of my problems. Everyone is like fucking like, sorry, can I curse or what?
You're fine. No, what I'm saying is like One Piece
Like
itself is
Susan,
a What I'm saying is if Luffy didn't grind, he probably wouldn't have awakened. He probably would have just died.
Yeah, but that's interpretation.
I mean,
we don't know. We don't know.
I mean, then why do you have a problem with something you don't know? You're just guessing.
Because, well, you are guessing too. Like it's
No.
something
I mean, the reality.
That's how it feels like.
The reality
That's
is
how it feels like.
no. The reality is my interpretation is much more likely, because you're ignoring the fact that 800 years passed and it never awoken and all that time.
Yeah, but you never know the reason. You don't know if in 800 years how many people have gotten it. How many were successful?
You think
how
it's
many drowned? Like you don't know this.
Then why are you talking about it? Like, because it's like you're straight up.
It's what we see. It's what we see. But anyways, it's whatever. Like my point is, I don't like that we find out that he has a pretty good path, Luffy. He grinds, he trains very hard. But let's just describe it. Like he gets the Shanks legacy, right? Like he gets his hat. He gets like. A goal. He's the son of Dragon. He's a D. He gets taught by Rayleigh, the right-hand man of the Pirate King, and then he has like the Joy Boy, Gear 5 stuff. That it's just.
But
After the time skip, I was like, I didn't. That's where it goes downhill for me a little bit.
but I don't understand. Like, none of that matters if Luffy doesn't grind. He was born a weak crybaby. You do realize that, right?
I know, but he also had like the best teachers in the world.
As a
Like
child.
his brother was Aight, and his teacher was Garp. His teacher was, his guidance was like he was looking up to Shanks. He had Rayleigh, he had Garp, son of Dragon.
What?
Like this man has the genetics and he has the guidance, and he has the fruit.
So
But
you're saying it's a bad thing that he knows Shanks and Garp?
Well, he doesn't just know them.
Like what did Shanks do? What did Shanks do to make Luffy stronger exactly?
He gave him pretty much his life goal.
But no. I'm saying, what training did Shanks do? Did he ever give him a weapon? Did he ever give him like some technique?
I didn't say Shanks trained him. He guided him. Like he's like a guidance for him. He's like a goalpost, like something he looks up to, and he wants to.
Shanks is a world famous pirate,
Can I
man.
ask something?
Not at the moment, JB. But hold on. Shanks is world famous though, bro. Like everyone in the world knows Shanks.
Yeah, but Luffy didn't know that before he met him.
I mean, anyone who can just pick up a newspaper can look at him and be like, "Oh, he's insane." Like that's exactly Bartolomeo. Bartolomeo looked in the newspapers, saw Luffy, and said, "Oh, he's my idol," and like followed him for that. So, I mean, what you're saying would apply to pretty much every character who can read.
Well, not everyone has the goals of Luffy. But
Exactly. It's because Luffy's. I mean, so you're saying you don't like that Luffy's ambitious?
He was in an environment where, likely, it's also his personality. Like,
But I mean,
don't have anything against that, but I just mean his environment is a little bit too like chosen ones. He has like the best people in the entire world around him.
but it's not like they're doing the adventure for him.
I know.
It doesn't even matter. Like Luffy could like.
This is like a subjective.
I mean,
thing,
let's think.
This is
Let's
why
think.
I find it to go downhill.
Hold on a
It doesn't
second.
have to be your opinion.
Let's just think about this logically, though. If Luffy just was a lazy guy, how strong would he be?
I don't know.
Given it, how do you think? What do you think? Where do you think he would be if he just like didn't train, didn't like he fought? Like think about what he went through with Ace and Sabo. He lost to them 100 times a day, every day from age 10 till age 14 when they left, and then he continued training after that. He did all of that just to reach Chapter 1 Luffy level strength, right?
Yeah, and then you one-shotted every guy he met until Crocodile.
Okay.
Well,
Do you
I
think?
don't think that's a problem,
do-
anyways. But I'm just saying, like, he got strong.
You just said that was
your.
your. You said that was your. You spent this last like 10 minutes saying that was your problem.
No. My problem with post time skip is like realizing, for me personally, like how chosen he was. You know how chosen he is because.
But you're saying
also
that
when
like you're saying that as if it takes away all of his hard work. If what I'm telling you is there's multiple people who could have fulfilled the Joy Boy prophecy.
He's just one of the chosen ones, bro. Like
There's multiple.
Even Sanji is like a chosen one. Usopp is the son of a guy in the Pirate King's thing. You know, like everyone is like too chosen. You know, for like a random pirate goon adventure that like it was portrayed to be in the beginning.
Brother, the story starts with him wearing the Pirate King's hat.
Yes, I know.
Why did it take you till post time skip to realize that they're not normal? Like, what do you mean?
Post time skip is when he was trained by Rayleigh. Post time skip is when he's facing these threats, and then you get flashbacks retroactively about training with Garb, training with this.
So wait,
with that.
like if I'm understanding you better, you're saying you would have enjoyed the story more if Luffy had no connections to Garp, no connections to Shanks, and no one in the crew had anything special about them at all.
Direct connections, yes, not so direct.
So you would prefer it if none of them had anything special about them at all?
No, you're going to extremes. Like I'm not saying none. Like you can have connections, but for me personally, my opinion, it feels too much. You know, everyone's too connected to too much of the big guys in the universe. You know, I prefer. It's my opinion. I prefer like it to be like a normal story. You know, like they met each other.
Like give an example of a normal story. Like some other shonen that doesn't do this.
Well, that's kind of on the spot question. You
know? I mean, it's a simple question. You just said you prefer it to be a normal story. Normal means average, right? What is a normal story that doesn't do this? It should be pretty easy to answer if this is such a big problem. Do you like Hunter x Hunter?
Yes.
Does Hunter x Hunter do this?
Yes, but not so much.
Gon is literally stated to have bottomless potential. He's the only human with that statement. Killua is stated to be the most talented Zoldyck in history, the history of his family. These are the two main characters. Do you have a problem with that?
Yes and no.
Luffy doesn't have that statement. He's not talented like that.
Yes, but he's pretty much set out to be like the final. He has the Joy Boy in him.
Bro, it does, like, what I don't think you're understanding is, like, do you realize Law could have been Joy Boy? Do you realize, like, any D, so, like, if you read the Joy Boy prophecy, it just says that someone born in the same generation as Shirahoshi will fulfill the prophecy. Everyone in this generation could have been Joy Boy, bro. It could have been Law, it could have been Kid, it could have been freaking Zoro, it could have been Sanji. Anyone in the generation could have done it. It's just Luffy is the most like, it could have been Blackbeard, and it still might be. Like, Oda might pull like a Houdini switcheroo right when we get to that arc and like have like someone else fulfill it.
Yes, I agree. But you asked me, like, the question is, why did it go downhill? For me, like, subjectively, it went downhill because of that fact I just told you. But that's not only my only reason.
But it's also in every, like, it's like in every other shonen. Like, even if you go to, like, something like Full Metal Alchemist, something that's, like, critically acclaimed as something great, Ed and Al, their dad is Hohenheim, who is literally a living Philosopher's Stone. Ed is, like, half Philosopher's Stone. That's, like, why he's such a genius, you could argue. It's like, I think literally, like, every shonen does this.
Look. I know, like, stories revolve like around the center point of the most interesting events that are going on in the story. I get it.
Okay, but okay, so maybe you have another point for
Like, I
like.
don't know what you're trying to say. Like I
Well,
don't the feel I have about the things I have is wrong. Like
No,
what do
no,
you mean?
I'm just saying like the thing you're saying as a problem is in literally every other shonen you like most likely. And
Yes,
also
but in One
into a
Piece it feels like a problem. I'm not saying those other things don't have problems. I'm just saying in One Piece it feels like a problem. If we were talking about Hunter x Hunter or Full Metal, I might address that too. You know,
yeah, I just don't
but
understand it
for me
because
personally, I don't like that.
I'm just saying like from my perspective I don't view it as a problem because like it's not
Like
like
with
Luffy's
Naruto, I have
being
the same
carried.
problem. Like this man is chosen one like times five. You know, he has the cube. He's son of Minato. He has this. Yes, he worked hard, but he also has like infinite chakra, and he's blessed by everything. You know, and when he died, he came back too, even more powerful. Like my problem with that question when I asked you like what is the condition of his death, you know why that's a problem for me, because at any moment before in the story, I would question like if he died here, what would have happened, you know?
He probably would have just died. Like I
Yeah, but that's the thing. We don't know. That's why I have a problem with it.
it's I know I say that's the most likely interpretation. Like do you think he would have just gone from gear nothing to gear 5?
We
I-
don't know.
No, I mean
Like he calls it Gear 5. It doesn't have to be in lore like Gear 5. You know what I'm saying? Like it could have been just like a transformation.
well, no. Like, here's another thing, Rio, that I don't think you're taking into consideration is that it's the awakening of his fruit, and that's stated to be something like you can only do that after like mastering your devil fruit. Like that's stated.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
So it's like Luffy getting gear 2, gear 3, gear 4. That's him mastering his fruit. So like,
Yeah. I know that statement. Yeah, that's true. So, like another problem I have. If you still have time or what?
yeah, we could do one more, and then we'll go to the next person.
Like, do you agree that Gear 5 brings down like the tone and tension of like the scene and fights? And are you like worried about future fights because of that fruit?
No, I actually like it because like when Luffy needs to lock in, it gets serious and he locks in. Like even in Luffy versus Kaido, the final punch was crazy. And actually not at all actually because I like Gear 5 because he's like disrespecting his enemies. I don't think you saw Egghead. Do you mind if I spoil Egghead stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Egghead, he fights an Admiral and a 5 Elder at the same time and like completely locks in while he's in Gear 5 and is like beating up both of them at the same time. And like each time he lands an attack on them, he'll be like serious while he does the attack. And then like as they're like writhing in pain, he's just laughing at them. And there's a statement where it says the more he laughs, the stronger he becomes. So I like that, bro. I think it like I view it as like
You prefer that?
yes, because it's like peak Luffy. It's like truly who he's always been, bro. Like throughout the whole series, he's like done silly things like mid fight, but he was serious at the same time. That's like this is who he's always been.
Yeah. So I don't know like the scene you were talking about, but like also like when in the fight with Kaido, right? When he was awakening, did you think like that tone shift was appropriate when everyone's eyes were popping out while Kinemon was literally like bleeding out and people were dying and people sacrificed themselves to give him that opportunity, and like he was giggling and there were eyes popping out to jokes.
I thought it was
did not
unique,
like
dude.
that.
I thought it was super unique because like no
Doesn't mean good.
I thought I liked it because it's like who else would ever do that? Like you have this super long critically acclaimed series and you're in like the final boss, one of the craziest fights in the whole series, and you go Tom and Jerry powers. That's cool. Like that's kind of genius, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we cannot agree on that, man.
I mean I bet you like give it
That's the things that I don't like, you know, like it's too huge of a tone shift. Like, yes, it's different, it's unique. Unique doesn't mean good. Like if he pulled his pants down, it's unique, it's different. Nobody did that, but it's not. Everyone sacrificed themselves for him, you know, for that fight, and he does that shit.
But
You know what I mean? Like,
he ends the fight with a serious punch though.
yes, but like the build up, the immersion, the tension, the stakes, it's all like out of the window for a few seconds, you know.
I don't really mind it.
Like, do you see where I'm? Yeah, well, I don't know if you can understand, but
No, those are fair points.
do you understand like if what I mean or what?
You're saying it was just like a sudden tone shift. But honestly, if you read it,
Definitely a tone shift.
if you read it in the manga though, it was kind of hype, dude, because like after Luffy did that, Kaido has this moment where he's like, I'm sorry that guy interrupted our fight, I just killed him. And Luffy's like, no worries, let's finish this. That scene was cool, bro. It was like the tone shifted for 1 second and then shifted right back to hype.
Animation.
Huh?
I've seen the animation. Not the,
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't, like, I just consider the One Piece anime is, like, not even half as good as the manga, to be honest, so.
yeah, like the Looney Tunes sounds and shit. I don't know, man.
The One Piece anime is, like, just
Like,
subpar.
I find that stuff to be going downhill because from now on we're gonna get like more serious fights. I think
I would recommend
like,
just read the manga.
We know he's gonna fight like Blackbeard and stuff, right? Like he's responsible, Loki or Akainu, for the death of Ace. Like you mind him popping his eyes out and laughing, and you know, like the Looney Tunes. I want it to be a serious fight, you know.
Well, Blackbeard, it will be
You
crazy.
said he can lock in. I mean, who knows, you know?
Yeah, man, I would recommend just read the manga for that fight because it might change your perspective on it. But I think I'm going to let someone else go now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe Appo? We can let Appo go? Oh wait, sorry.
Oh, yeah. I was supposed to be up next anyways because I was supposed to go first. But then,
Oh, yeah, you do have a good point. You were.
You took like 2 hours to restart the stream, bro. Like,
Yeah, I needed to recharge, bro. I was pissed off after the first.
No, you're chilling.
But another thing.
I'm chilling.
Yeah, Void. I'm sorry, Void, because I did tell Void he could go next too, but I forgot all about Appo, who, like I said, he would go first. Void, are you okay if we do this one for like 5-10 minutes at most?
Yeah, no problem. Listen in, because my take is on Wano, so it's gonna be a good one.
Okay, I'm interested in that. So, yeah, Appo, what's your take, bro?
Yeah, my take is I honestly don't know if One Piece was ever like actually like up. If you want me to be honest,
You said was ever
I
actually
think-
on?
yeah, like if we look at the history of One Piece, I think it gets hyped up to something it's not. I think even in more recent years, it gets more and more of a decline. I think it's pretty obvious that the story isn't as good as people make it out to be, and it's kind of like unable to adapt with the times. Like, for example, it has a lot of basic stuff still, which is like fine for something as old as it if it wasn't continued anymore. You know what I mean? Like, Dragon Ball has a lot of basic stuff, but it wasn't basic for its time. You know what I mean? And now Dragon Ball adapts, especially in something like Daima, which is what makes it so interesting, right? Where, like, I don't think One Piece continues to adapt this. I think that One Piece, for the times that we do know of, what is it called? Best-selling manga and stuff, like, it just constantly decreases and decreases, right? I mean, for the last 5 years, it hasn't been the best-selling manga, even though that it's the most continued manga, like, ever. You know what I mean? And still had, like, such a crazy fan base for a time when there wasn't a lot of mangas in the first place, you know, especially over here, and not just in Japan. The only real mangas that were... There may have only been, like, 10 real mangas that were actually, like, accepted over here in a sense, right? Or like actually read. And they had like 30 years of execution on this. You know, that's obviously an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying. And yet they still just decline. I think there's a reason for that, and that's just that it was never that good. And these stories that are coming out are just so much better than it. I.e., just so we're clear, I think it's like 2014 or something, right? I think One Piece beat out Attack on Titan by 0.3 sales, right? Or like 300 sales, basically, when it came out to the actual numbers, right? Or whatever. And at the time, Attack on Titan was like at chapter 50. Like, that's just like how much more interesting these new stories are than One Piece. So I don't know. I don't think One Piece was ever actually up. I just think that it was during a time when there wasn't a lot of other things to read. And then now that we do have these other things to read, it constantly gets lower and lower on the manga sales for a reason.
These are some very interesting takes, Appo. Are you caught up with the manga?
No, I've only realistically read like 50 chapters because it was just so boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like
That explains everything.
I actually despise One Piece.
That explains everything, bro. Well, like, okay, I'll just start. Look, here, I'll just start like debunking some of the things you said. So first off, I just right now I googled best-selling manga of all time. The number one best-sold manga of in history is One Piece.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I agree it's the best sold in history because the difference of one, when it actually started selling, right? Back when the big three was the thing, they all went relative. And then they've just carried that over, right? For obvious, so they obviously have like 10 years more worth of sales than everybody else in the game.
What about
of course it's gonna have more sales.
Well, Apple, what about Dragon Ball? It's like destroyed Dragon Ball.
What I would say to Dragon Ball is I think for Dragon Ball specifically, one, the anime was so much more accepted than the manga. Like if we looked at people who watched the anime versus the manga, for Dragon Ball specifically, the anime is watched so much more for one. Two, Dragon Ball had stopped its running when it came to the manga during actually most of the time that One Piece was coming out, and the big three is what made anime and manga so widely popular.
Well, dude, it's like here's the thing. Here's a couple of things. I mean, if I actually look into it, okay, I could look at it.
Give you the numbers now. Like most of the years that they actually counted manga sales, right? And like it's been public. For like the last 5 years in a row, I think from 2019 till now, One Piece has not been the top-selling manga, even though it should have the biggest fan base, because it's like been so widely out for so long, right? And it's a part of the big three, so it's one of the most known manga ever. Yet these new gen manga consistently that come out are consistently beating it out in manga sales for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I could look into that in 1 second here, but here's just something to just keep in mind. Do you mind if I like spoil you on One Piece stuff?
No, I'm never gonna read it.
Okay.
I'm spoiled on most things. That's why I'm able to debate it so well, because like I do know a majority of what happens. I just don't know like specific details. Like
no, it's
I don't
fine.
know characters' names for the most part.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So let me explain it to you like this. There is a real chance that nothing will actually surpass it. Ever.
In terms of what sells?
No. In terms of a couple things. In terms of overall like impact that it has on just like the human race. And in terms
Dragon Ball surpassed it.
Hold on. Let me finish my point. I'll explain it to you like this. I had a roommate when back when I was in undergrad. I had a roommate from Japan. His name was Hisanobu, and we were talking about One Piece, and he told me, he said, I am sure that people will be reading this 100 years from now. He said, I am certain people will read it 100 years from now. He told me where he lived, there was One Piece statues just like around, like there's statues of the Straw Hats just in public. He said, I remember he told me this. He said, honestly, I think in Japan, 99.9% of people know what Luffy looked like. That's something he told me. And he like just the way he spoke about it, he put it like above Dragon Ball. And that's like a common take in Japan. Okay. And it's just, its influence is actually crazy, man. It's just humongous. It also has the best live action that's ever been done. Not only is it the best selling manga of all time, it's actually like in the top 10 like best selling fictional stories. Like One Piece on its own has sold more copies than like every Batman comic put together. It's about to surpass Harry Potter, I think. And like the other thing about One Piece, that out of all the shonen I've read, none of them can compete in like its lore. Its lore is like Lord of the Rings level just on its own. And the consistency of One Piece is so insane that it actually makes people question if a human being's writing it. Like there's so many times that are still happening right now where like something that seemed absolutely useless 200, 300 chapters ago ends up being huge like 10 real life years later. A good example of this is like during the Marineford War, there's just a random panel of Bonnie crying as she watches the war on TV. And then like 15 real life years later, it's revealed that Kuma is Bonnie's father. So she was watching the war and she was seeing like clones of her father on the battlefield. That's why she was crying. And like that's just one of about 100 examples. If I just actually tried, I could pull up. Another one is back in chapter, like, I think 180, all of the old gen characters, like the characters who were alive when Roger was alive, if you pay close attention, they call him Goldie Roger, but all the young people call him Gold Roger because that's like what the One Piece world government wants people to think his name was. And then it's revealed like chapter 600, his name really was Goldie Roger. There, like the list of that goes on and on and on. No other shonen has ever done that. The only thing that's like, what's that?
Oh, sorry. Continue.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
continue.
no,
I
no,
didn't know
it-
you had anything more to say.
No, it's just like the thing is, One Piece is just genuinely superior to most shonen in a lot of things. The one thing that it's like worse in is its fights, but it's like here's just something I'll say. One last thing: One Piece is one of the only shonen you could take all the fights out of it. It's still like a 7 out of 10, maybe even an 8 out of 10. If you do that to like pretty much any other shonen you like, it's just a piece of garbage. Like if you take all the fights out of JJK, you're looking at like a 3 out of 10 like slop fest. You take all the fights out of Demon Slayer, you're looking at actual trash. But you take all the fights out of One Piece, and it's like literally, I could probably list 20 moments in One Piece that have nothing to do with fights that are better than anything in Demon Slayer. That's about all I'd say on it.
Yeah, you're fine. So like when it comes to relevance, right? Sure, I agree it's relevant, but I think I've explained why. It's during the time that it came out that made.
Oh, Apple, you still there, bro? Hello? Can you guys
Can you not hear me?
Oh, I heard you there. All right, what was that?
Yeah. I said, I think that, like, if anything, One Piece is a 7 out of 10. I just think the time it came out, it didn't have a lot of competition, right? And it's been out for so long, in which it was able to capitalize off of this. But if we still look at, like, things that impact more, right? I think Dragon Ball impacts more the world overall, right? Like, we look at Mexico and the way they acted when Toriyama died, like, literal shrines. Same with, like, Gojo, right? Like, Gojo has... Even though Gojo has only been a thing for, 5-6 years, right? Gojo has impacted social media to the point where there are shrines being made for him, right? The guy, like, legit has himself referenced in so many songs, so many, like, actual, actors and singers reference him in music. Usher cosplayed Gojo. For what? Who knows, right? Like, nobody even knew Usher was an anime guy before, like, he cosplayed Satoru Gojo. It was so big, right, that the fight between Gojo and Sukuna, right, was damn near breaking the internet as a manga. Do you know how insane that is, right? So, like, when we look at it of relevance, right, even though that it has, like, so much quote-unquote relevance, I think it comes from the time period it's in, right? There are still other things that encapsulate that relevance, right? Even like Gojo, who's only been a thing for 5 years. And then we look at other things and it's like, oh, well, what about, if you take out the fights from these things, what stands out to One Piece? And I'd say things like Attack on Titan. I think that other than Attack on Titan, I think Code Geass holds up to it. I think Yu Yu Hakusho holds up to it. I think all of these are better than it. Yet, if they don't take 1,000 chapters worth of time to actually make themselves that good. And then once again, like when we reference what makes something good and enjoyability, right? I mean, we see that these other manga are able to beat it out within their first 50 chapters. Like, do you know how insane it is that AOT in their first 50 chapters were selling out against like One Piece, or was like going high end relative? Like, do you think that means like One Piece is like better than AOT?
Well, I would just say that they're different kinds of stories, like, altogether. Because, for example, Attack on Titan, like, I can give a bunch of examples. Like, Attack on Titan is a straight-up horror manga. It starts out as a horror manga. So, of course, that's going to, like, pull people in faster. It's, like, actually terrifying. But One Piece is a story, like, lore. Like, it's basically lore piece. Like,
AOT has more lore than One Piece.
That's really... I mean, bro, I could pull up one panel that has, like, about as much lore as all of AOT together.
I disagree. I think
I'll pull it up right...
Like,
No, I'll pull it up right now. It's this mural.
He titles episodes like...
Dude, this one panel, the One Piece mural, when I read it, this was when I actually like decided to myself I don't even consider Hunter x Hunter on the same tier anymore. Like I actually put it at like it's just in my opinion, I do view it as the best like overall product of a shonen because it's like kind of the pinnacle of what shonen can do. This one mural, I talked about it in the last stream. Just analyzing this mural when this chapter came out, it turned like the entire community into like actual archaeologists studying every little drawing on this piece of the mural, trying to understand every word of the poems that were listed. It's like terrifying world-ending prophecies that are all just being foreshadowed and spoken about. Like some of the lines in this are insane. Like if you guys wanted to, I could read this again, but
Wait, that same thing happens in AOT.
with like the basement.
Yeah, I think with the basement, I think with the tree, like I think there are so much more. I think with the opening scene, like if you look at, have you seen AOT's opening? Like, have you actually watched it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like even the opening encapsulates, I think, more understanding of lore than that. Like,
No, it doesn't, bro. I mean, because I've seen both. It doesn't. Like, this is stuff that like makes you question all 1,000 chapters that you read. That like the stuff in AOT, it makes you question the like 100 chapter journey. But just the fact that like this is something just.
Well, of course. Wait. That's unfair because once again, I think that's an issue with One Piece, right? My
I say it's a
entire,
strength. I say it's a
revolves
strength.
around the idea that if it takes 1,000 chapters to be able to do it, then you're obviously not a good enough storyteller.
No, I say it's actually the opposite. It's a humongous strength because Oda has stayed consistent for 1,000 chapters. It like that's kind of the whole point of the stream is that the lore in One Piece has not only stayed like steady the whole time, like it still feels like a One Piece chapter every time I read it.
That
but,
can't be possible.
But you haven't read it, man. You haven't read it.
The reason I think that's not possible is because the biggest complaint for new anime watchers, right, or even some old ones about One Piece is what?
I'm not sure. I mean, and I'm not talking about the anime. I'm talking.
I'll tell you. Yeah. No, I'm talking about the manga too, right? The biggest thing for them, right, is the idea that it's too long, and when they read it, they couldn't read it or watched it, right? And it's both, right? They couldn't get into it through the first 100 to 200 chapters or 100 to 200 episodes, and then everybody or a lot of the fan base says, "Oh, well, it gets really good around 500," right? Which is an issue. Like that is a common complaint and the common reply.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's actually as common as you think it is because
I mean, I could bring up like hundreds and hundreds of videos talking about it. I can bring up hundreds and hundreds of subreddits and Reddits referencing it. I mean, it is such a big thing that it is constantly talked about in the anime community, and anybody I've ever talked to in the anime community knows about it.
Well, I think that's kind of a negative spin on it. What I see people say is that it's too intimidating to get into because there's just so much material.
No, they straight up try to, and then they can't.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the common thing. I think the common.
Bring them up. He won't. Okay, I will right now.
I think the common thing is people say that's way too much stuff to get into. But if they actually sit and read the manga, they fall in love with it. That seems to be the common thing. If you try and get into it through the anime, that's not for everybody. I don't know if I could get into One Piece through just the anime today. I read the manga, and I've been reading the manga for a very long time. But anyways, I think I'm gonna let someone else go. Void. Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, we can let Voidmaker go, and then we'll let Kaka Popo go. It's just a crazy username. Voidmaker, what were your points, man? You were saying you wanted to talk about Wano, right?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Wano, but before I get to Wano, there's another like some minor points I want to point out as well. Mm-hmm. The thing is for me with just to let you know I'm not some rage baiter. I actually started watching One Piece when it wasn't popular to watch. That's the time when Naruto was at its peak, Bleach was at its peak, and most you only find like YouTubers talking about One Piece. I liked it. It was hard to get in because of the art style. It was so different than what anime art style was. But what kept me watching, because I watched the anime, the animation was bad, the art style was bad, the fight scenes were garbage. But what kept me in the story was the characters, their interaction, they had a charm to them, and it kept me coming back because even in downtime or in filler, you'd get entertainment from just watching the Straw Hats interact. And I believe ever since we come into the new world, it has been getting less, and less to the point where I wouldn't say it went as far, but for some characters, they're just their tropes until Oda decides to focus on them. And most people say that they need more character development, or they believe that having character development is having the character change from X to Y. But for me, what is significantly missing from the character aspects of the Straw Hats is just them just being human, talking to each other, doing feedback from each other. And these are the points in One Piece that hooked me. What hooked me into One Piece was Luffy taking off his hat and giving it to Nami. The interaction between Nami and Zoro. All of those interactions it got me into One Piece, and it made me stay through the bad animation, the bad fights, the fillers. It got me to stay. And in post time skip, Fishman Island arc, it was there, and it get less and less and less and less to the point where until Oda decides that, hey, I'm going to focus on this Straw Hat, they are tropes. Example, in the pre-time skip, Luffy was one of my favorite characters. Nami was one of my favorite characters, and Zoro. In specific order, it was Nami, Zoro, and Luffy. Nami right now is my favorite character. Zoro is nowhere to be found. He's not bad, but I can't say that I like Zoro like the way I used to like him. And for the rest of the Straw Hats, they've just done a steady decline. In Wano, you had them focus on Robin for that one fight, but that's not enough. That's not what the core of it is, because fighting was always important, but the part of One Piece that made it so different than the rest of the shonens was the interaction between the crew. I actually cared. Right now, if Usopp is to die, I wouldn't bat an eye. I'd say good riddance. A pre-time skip, I actually cared. So that would be my first point, and I'll let you address it, and then we'll move on into Uno.
Yeah, so you're saying essentially like your first big point is that like the slice of life elements of the Straw Hats is just way less in post time skip.
Yes, and not only that it's way less, it makes them seem less human, like less character, like you going on a journey with them. That part was a big part of the pre-time skip. Just the simple interactions. Not Sanji being a simp or Zoro saying something cool, but how would Zoro react in this situation? Right? Just their general back and forth, them being.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. I do think they interact less because it's just like they're in more serious environments. Like the New World itself is just way more serious than the pre-time skip was. We do still get to see like bits and pieces of their personality, and there are still some interaction moments. Like I have on the screen right now when they had Raizo revealed to still be alive after like the Minks had their century or millennium old city destroyed, and like all of them were getting tortured and stuff, lying about Raizo, and then they revealed that Raizo was still like actually alive. That was a big shocking moment, and like the way each of the Straw Hats react shows you like bits and pieces of their personality. Like Frankie's the only one that's crying out of the group, showing he's still like the same like kind-hearted guy he's always been. Then you also get like their interactions when they see Raizo. They see Raizo and they think he's like, well, Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper all think Raizo's like cool. It's like a throwback to when in Thriller Bark they saw Frankie's laser robot. And this is also just like a funny scene where like Raizo's just kind of like a low quality version of Naruto. He actually does like a shadow clone jutsu and stuff, and like Luffy, Usopp, Chopper are the only ones who think it's cool. So it's like they still do have moments like this. It's just they happen less because like most of the page time is spent for them doing like really important things now. Like explaining like endgame lore. Like, I mean, are you caught up with One Piece manga?
Yes, I'm following it because this is the thing. I don't think One Piece is bad. It's just that for the one arc, it took it from like I had One Piece in the same tier as like for Attack on Titan, for example. This is the perfect example. I had Attack on Titan as a 10 out of 10 until the ending, and when the ending came, it went to like a 0 out of 10. So what I did, I separated it before the ending and after the ending. One Piece for me is the same thing with Wano, but there is so much that Oda promised that I'm not leaving. I'm going to see Zoro versus Mihawk. I'm going to see all of the build up and the promises that he made. I'm going to sit here for it. But I won't say it's where I had it in my heart. I won't say that's where it is right now.
Well, I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear your Wano take, because I really like to hear your Wano take, because I would just say, like, my counter argument to what you're saying, I do agree there's less slice of life moments, but the reason, my argument for why there is less is because, like, most of the time is just being spent explaining actual world ending things that are happening. Like, you know, they don't really have time for like Luffy and Usopp to like gag around, like doing like funny stuff while they're explaining, hey, you know, One Piece is a post-apocalyptic world and their world's about to end.
I'll do some pushback on that one. You know, and this is spoilers for everybody. You know that we're in Wano right now. Do you remember when Luffy and Zoro went off on their little adventure?
Yeah, they actually had great dynamics in that.
Loki? They were just talking. That's what I'm talking about. It's not something like goofing around. It's just like the Straw Hats, instead of like, there's something happened, Straw Hats react. Cyborg cry, Brook makes a face, Topper and do. It's like just them talking. It was something so normal and it flowed. It never took away from the story, if you get what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. And that's like a perfect example that I would say One Piece, and you agree with it as well, that is something that is missing. I don't think it's at the cost of more story. It's just something that we lost.
I would say I don't think we
else, and it cost the story, in my opinion.
I really don't think we lost it, man. I just think other things are happening. Like, I mean, in each arc, there's character moments with them. Every arc. It's just.
I won't disagree.
It's just not as many, maybe.
Less and less and less and less and less. And this is the thing. If it was the case where each Straw Hat, we're gonna, of course, going to go into Wano, but if it was the case that every Straw Hat got a treatment, like what Sanji got and so forth, like what Robin got, like every Straw Hat got their individual moment like that, and then the interactions were cut by. But then at some point, you just like highlighted it. That would be a lot finer. But I do think that, and I believe that you can even admit it as well. Compared to pre-time skip, what we had, the dynamic we had, those things that One Piece fans love, me included, is less, right? Now, is it to the case where it's ruining the story? I wouldn't say so. But an admittance that it is less and it could have been more. And the perfect example with Luffy and Zoro just talking. That thing put a smile to my face.
That was also a big part of Wano, dude.
Trying to be cool, but then just talking, you know?
That was also all throughout Wano. Like, Luffy and Zoro had a whole compilation of moments, like, just yapping. Those were, like, there was a lot of great Luffy-Zoro moments.
Zoro meeting Luffy, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would never come out and say One Piece is trash. But we can go into Wano.
It just one other thing I want to... Just one other thing I want to point out. Like, here's a couple of things that I don't think people take into account. Like, the crew is bigger now, too. So, like, even back in pre-time skip, like, I remember it felt like Brook didn't get that many moments to shine because there was just so many people now. He just didn't get that much time. And he was only on the crew for a little while before they split. And another thing is, like, the Straw Hats, they're not even always together anymore. Like, for example, in Wano, there was a big segment where it was just, like, Sanji, Frankie, Usopp, and Law. So we got to see all of them interact with Law, which was cool, dude. Like seeing Sanji interact with Law was very interesting because like Sanji wasn't afraid of him, Law wasn't afraid of Sanji, and they had like interesting dynamic. Like I think we can say that it's different, but I don't even know if it's like bad. I think it's like giving us different interactions.
Yeah, we can, as I said before, it's because you can admit that time skipping. You can admit that that's part of the One Piece charm, right? Outside of the lore and everything, that's one of the biggest part of the One Piece charm is the interaction between the Star Hats, where it's not just tropes like other shonen. It's a big part of the charm. So less of it. I can feel that it's less, and as a One Piece fan coming from there to know, I can feel it, and it's not something like turning me off from the show or anything like that, but it's something I would have liked more. And whenever I get it, for example, and it's so easy, that's what I'm saying. It's not something hard. It's so easy.
I see
I
what
think
you're saying.
Nami is the most consistent Straw Hat right now. Nami is my favorite Straw Hat because she's the most consistent. Her interactions isn't just based around her trope. Her concerns, the way she talks, the questions that she asks, her getting angry, it all makes sense to me for Nami. Right? So that's pretty much my first point in regards to pre-time skip, post-time skip.
Yeah, I want to hear your
We
Wano
can
points for
move
sure.
over to Wano. All right, so for Wano, I'll just start off with the biggest complaint, and then I'll just go into the smaller things. But the biggest complaint that I have with Wano is the fact that 2 Yonko fell, and the impact on the Straw Hats, it's not shown afterwards. It feels as if Oda just used these Yonko to progress the story, and we didn't get the payoff for building them up. And the biggest one, I believe, is Big Mom. Like Kaido fell short in regards to, he was touching on a whole lot of different themes, but it never really settled on one. Was it the case that he wanted to be Joy Boy? And what would his dream of conquering the world have to do with Joy Boy specifically? Because he seemed like he was knowledgeable about it. Does he want to die? Does he want to be challenged? And if he wants to be challenged, why wasn't there a track record of him challenging the strongest? Because we know that him challenging the Marine was just him going on their ship to steal food. There's no record of him challenging any admiral.
Well,
right?
don't they have isn't there a line of dialogue where it says like he was almost killed by Whitebeard and a bunch of other really strong pirates like numerous times?
He didn't specifically. He said that he fought and lost to the Yonkers, and he fought and lost to the Marines. And the only interaction he had with him with the Marines is not that he was captured by the Marines. He was captured by the other Yonkers, and he was captured by the Marines. But when he showed what him being captured by the Marines looked like, he was just stocking up on food.
But I think
it's
I
like
don't.
hearsay, right?
Well, no, I think I vividly remember them saying like he lost to like powerful pirates, like because when he's introduced, they talk about him like how he's tried to kill himself a bunch of times and it failed, and he like lost to really powerful pirates. Like
lost and get captured and so forth. Yeah, that I'm saying is like that's like.
So that would be his track
type of
record.
Statement that we.
No, that's his track record of trying to die.
In his actual, that's his track record of trying to. How would I describe it? Right. We saw that in the Odin fight, that he got hit with a Conqueror's Hockey Slash. And he got seriously injured, right? And because of the inconvenience, that's where he got put out, right? So we see that he actually can take damage, and he knows that he can take damage. But in regards to the track record of him trying to die, the one example that we actually saw was him jumping off of the Sky Island, and the Marine example that we actually saw was just him being captured to take food, right? We saw attempts of him trying to fight stronger pirates, but it was in the attempt to die. It also wasn't explained why Kaido wanted to die, right? And I think in one of
it
the
might get
previous
explained.
debates you mentioned
It might
that
get explained later.
it's being explained now, which is fair because we're seeing him in the current flashback where we're getting a bit more Kaido. But I believe if we're going to get the full core, where during that time in Wano, where the focus is on the big bad Kaido, big bad Big Mom. At that moment, in the immersion, in any other shonen or any other media, people telling you that after he's defeated, like another 70 chapters later, we're going to get some more information on him. Give him the focus there or give us more. That flashback was pretty much Kaido was small, and he was a ruffian. This is how he got his first mate, the end. More when rocks come. Kaido fell as an Yonko. This is the thing that I'm going to get back to. The Yonkos, up until Wano ended, was the thing, right? They were the biggest obstacles in Luffy Way. The entirety of the post-time skip was planning into the Yonko, right? So when we get to the Yonko, I was expecting that payoff. Like if Kaido right now is like, when it comes to strength and fighting, I really enjoyed it. But Oda hinted that those three things that I mentioned didn't fulfill on it, right? And then Big Mom was an absolute joke. This is the thing. I don't have any issues with the Yonkos falling, but the scene that all of this build-up led to them, I wanted to pay off be more. And I can go into specific details, but it seems like you had like a rebuttal for something else.
Yeah, like we can talk about all those points you made. So first off, one of the things you were saying is that there wasn't like much evidence that Kaido was like actually trying to die. I just pulled up the chapter right now. It's chapter 795, page 14 and 15. This is when Kaido's first introduced. It says, "This is a man who challenged the Navy and the four emperors 18 times. Was caught 18 times and endured over thousands of tortures. He was sentenced to death 40 times. When he was hanged, the rope snapped. When he was put under guillotine, the blade broke. And his hobby is trying to die." So like, it's straight up, it's told to us that that's what he does. And like the argument I would make for like, why don't the Yonko just kill him? They could just not want to. Like maybe Whitebeard was beating him and then just saying, "Nah, I don't want to kill you, bro," and would just leave.
No, that part is fine, and you make a great argument there in regards to him wanting to die, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the next point I made on that is why.
Yeah, and I don't think we have an answer to that yet. I think that's something that will be answered.
And that's one of the complaints that I have, and I want you to really think about it. Which other media would you excuse that during the time where the arc is centrally focused on that villain, that so much is hidden from their motivation, and it is heavily hinted for it to be revealed? You know how One Piece is. It's going to be revealed more chapters in the future, right? I believe that's a takeaway from Wano.
I mean,
Doflamingo, for example, is my favorite character in the entire series and favorite villain. He got everything in Dressrosa, right? And it wasn't like 20 chapters of flashback. It hit all of the points. Why Doflamingo's the way he is? Why does he think that way? Why does he care so much about his family? Why is he operating the way he's operating, right? So we got like a comprehensive package for Doflamingo during the arc he's being defeated. No, his family is tied to a certain ancient celestial dragon race. We might get more information on the Don Quixotes later on in like lore chapters. It's going to add to Doflamingo, but at the time, we had everything we needed to love Doflamingo. The only reason I can like Kaido is that he's a super strong badass that took on tens of fighters. He lived up to the Yonko title. That's what I can say for Kaido. Cool design, really strong, live up to the Yonko title, introduce new fighting concepts like Advanced Conqueror's Haki, and had depth to him that we didn't get, right? So it's like, if Kaido without the additional hints of Joy Boy, him speaking on certain things, I would have Kaido as a solid villain. Just a powerhouse Yonko. I don't have any problem with a meathead, but the hints were there and it wasn't delivered in where it mattered most.
Well,
what do you think of that? Like, should we have gotten more in Anno where the pivotal focus is on Kaido and his story?
Well, it seems like a lot of this Kaido stuff is connected to Joy Boy stuff, so it seems like that's why it didn't all get revealed yet. Like, that was kind of my take on it. And like another thing I think is like, this isn't even the first time Oda's done this. Like a good example would be Akainu. I would say in many people's eyes, like Akainu's the main villain of Marineford because of what he does. But we don't know squat about Akainu.
I think that would be incorrect. He would be the person that it's in the end of the arc he was the most active, and the theme was based about him, like, are we doing this to save lives? Because continuing the fight, the entire arc was just a massive battle arena where there was a lot of conflicts going on, a lot of decisive battles, a lot of interactions. And for Akainu, there's no one that ended the Marineford arc and said that. A lot of people had questions about Akainu, but it wasn't his arc. Right now, he's the fleet admiral. He has a kill on Luffy's brother. So we know that whenever we get to Akainu, we're going to get his backstory, we're going to get his lore. So if it was centered where Akainu was the center of Marineford, and we know that we're never going to get Akainu in the central light. That's the thing with Kaido. You got to think about it, right? And you can tell me if you disagree, because I believe the point that I'm making is a very valid point in regards to we should have gotten more about Kaido when the story was all about Kaido.
I mean, yeah, maybe we could have gotten more, but it's like he's so connected to Rocks. Like, he was part of the Rocks pirate for a lot of his backstory. So, like, I just think he didn't want to spoil Rocks. He didn't want to show the Joy Boy stuff. So that's why he's saving it for now.
Yeah, so for example, what could have been done there, right? So say that we get that slight backstory.
But
remember,
just real quick.
I cannot write like Oda.
Void, just real quick, because I also do want to let these two other people go too. Did you have like other big complaints with Wano? Like, let's wrap it up in the next like 2 minutes here. Did you have any like other big complaints with Wano?
It wouldn't be. I wouldn't. The other big complaint was that the two Yonko falling and the after effect doesn't feel like two Yonko falling, mainly on like the Straw Hats. And this is just like small takeaway, but you got to think about it. They were building up the Yonko the entire time. Every interaction with a Yonko is a close dead call for most combatants. For example, we lost Pedro in Whole Cake Island, and at the end of the arc, all of the Straw Hats come out clean. There's nothing. Even in Luffy versus Rob Lucci's lifespan was shortened using Gear Second, or at least it was hinted. I think that leaving the arc, there should have been something that we can look at the Straw Hats today and say, this is a scar they got from fighting against a Yonko. This is that, right? They just all come out crystalline clean. And I believe it took away from the Yonko in which Oda built up. I know there's bigger things to move on to, but the characters you've built up and have us invested in for how long, which is Big Mom, Kaido, the commanders of each of the fleets should have been given more to move on to the story. Like, all right, cool. You build up these characters, now that we are satisfied. I think that would have been another bigger complaint. But since we're pressed on time, I think I'll just leave it at that.
Well, yeah, I would say, I mean, Momo lost 20 years of his lifespan, and multiple of the samurai died. And, like, the people of Wano will never be the same. Like, they were all enslaved for 20 years. Like, also, a lot of, like, almost everyone Momo knew died. Like, that guy who was, I forget his name, he was, like, shot in cold blood in front of his daughter. She's traumatized for life. Like, there was so much, like, death and destruction in Wano. So many people died in that war. So, I don't know. I do think it was... I mean, I'm just going to be honest, man. To this day, I've never heard a good argument for why people dislike Wano. I hear people will say, like, there's one or two really...
I think...
Here, let me finish this claim. Hold on.
Ultimately, I think you really, really just love... One Piece.
I do.
That's what I think. I think you're just really in love with One Piece.
I do love One Piece.
It's the same that I would do for Hunter x Hunter.
But
I believe that there is like some takeaway from Wano, some things that are promised that are never delivered on, and you can always talk around it. But if it's something promised, never delivered on,
like what was promised and not delivered? What was promised and not delivered?
For example, one of the other things that are there, right? So Frankie promising to make weapons to fight against Kaido, that went nowhere.
He did that in
Zoro
Wano?
Rally in the summer. He did make that promise.
No.
Zoro Rally in the Samurais, it went nowhere. Zoro being in Wano. No mention of Mihawk, the strongest samurai. No interest in Zoro.
Wait, is Mihawk even a samurai? Is Mihawk a samurai?
No, just the greatest swordsman. That is the land of swords, right? Like, there's no mention of Mihawk there. Zoro
but they're closed off from the rest of the world.
In regards to Ryuma. Yeah, but most of the greats went there.
But like, what did you want from that? Like,
just a mention.
Like, oh man, you guys hear about Mihawk? That man's pretty strong.
Anything. You know how Oda does. He can make it work. Zoro being.
I don't think that was needed at all.
Even when he's leaving, having no interest at all.
In what?
The only time Zoro was interested in the land that focuses on swords and swordsmanship. Zoro didn't have any investment, like taking away something from it. The only thing he took away was copying Kinemon, Firefox. Imagine if Zoro actually incorporated
And he got
techniques from
Odin's
the line
sword
of
though,
sword.
man.
Yeah, he got a sword. And it's not
Odin's.
something that he asked for. It was a trade. There wasn't any initiative from Zoro himself being in that place, being that he wanted that to be his vision, right? It's like Luffy going to an island and not exploring. Zoro was there where you have samurais where their way of life is with the sword, and he didn't show any personal interest in learning, developing new techniques, in moving forward to his vision in towards his goal. And I know I don't want to take up any more time, but I would love you for you to address this as well. What's going on with the Straw Hats taking initiative to accomplish their individual dreams? Zoro is getting stronger, but where's the initiative of Zoro saying, I want to learn X, I want to learn Y to become stronger, and Nami saying, like, now that I've been in Wano, I've gotten this written down, or Sanji asking people in Wano about if they ever heard of the All Blue. I think that would be like the last point that I'll go. And
I mean, was that something that even really happened in pre-time skip? When did Zoro? Hold on. When did Zoro?
Pre-time skip. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When did Zoro just like ask random people, "Hey man, will you teach me some swordsmanship?" When did that ever happen?
It was brought. It wasn't teaching him about bringing up the swordsmanship. I would say for the pre-time skip, right? For example.
Wait, so hold on. Let's
sorry, go ahead.
Because I want to just finish this up. So it's like it sounds like you're saying things that didn't happen pre-time skip either, to be honest.
All right, so for pre-time skip with Nami, we found out that she was drawing maps upon maps and was working on it there. So all of the dreams were introduced.
Well, she still does that.
Pre-time skip, meaning that, right? So all of the dreams were introduced in the pre-time skip, meaning that it was addressed. I'm saying that where is the dreams being addressed in the post-time skip? If that makes sense.
Well, I mean, they talk about like, so, I mean, a lot of it they're focusing on like how they need to get stronger and better so that they can support Luffy as he becomes the king of the pirates. They're like all in it together. But I mean, I think the complaints you're having about post-time skip existed in pre-time skip too, to be honest. And what I wanted to say one more time earlier is like I've heard a lot of people like give small criticisms on Wano, but I've never heard like a single convincing thing for as to why people like dislike the arc. Like it's literally insane. It's such a good arc. But let's go over to Kaka Popo. Bro, I don't like saying your name, man. But
you can just say Popo if you want.
Popo, yeah, I'll just say Popo moving forward. But yeah, Popo, sorry for making you wait forever. Popo, you can go, then Nano can go.
No, I actually thought it was really funny because all of the points that Voidmaker made was points I was going to make because I honestly kind of agree with the Wano stuff. So I'll try not to like retread on most of the stuff he said. But I guess I should preface that One Piece is my favorite manga, like, of all time, easily. And I've been reading One Piece since Dressrosa, because I was watching the anime and the pacing was just so bad. So it's like, And I dropped it kind of right after Wano during the whatever that arc's called, Egghead, like halfway through it. So I'm not caught up, but I guess one of my problems, especially that I was having while reading Wano, is like a lot of the stuff that Oda set up, like he just didn't follow through with. So,
in Wano?
Like one of those, in Wano. One of those things is like Yamato joining the crew. Like he was like talking about that. Yamato the whole time is like, oh, I'm going to join the crew, you know? And then like right at the end of the arc, it's almost like Oda just like changed his mind last second. It's like, I'm not going to do that.
That's true.
Not sure why. It seems like really weird, especially with all like how much setup there was for Yamato joining the crew. Stuff with like Ryuma, like there wasn't that much mention. Like I thought there would be more stuff with like Zoro going to see like Ryuma's grave, or more stuff with like the sword that Ryuma literally gave him and that he lost. but there wasn't like that much mention of Ryuma during Wano, which is kind of disappointing. Characters not getting any shine in the arc like Usopp. Like what did Usopp do?
Oh yeah,
I feel
Usopp's been trash all of
mean,
post time skip. I won't lie. Usopp's been trash.
like, and it hurts me because Usopp was like my favorite character like pre time skip, and I think like more and more post time skips, some characters are just getting sidelined, just more and more. Like Frankie's getting sidelined, Usopp's getting sidelined, and it's just like I feel like Oda's having like a hard time incorporating them as much as he like could be in arcs. There's like a lot of moving parts in Wano. Like what's the dude who like ended up dying and they don't even like mention it at the end of Wano?
Ashura Doji.
I think his name was like Yasui or something.
Oh yeah, Yasui. A lot of people died. It was him, Yasui, and then
Yasui
also Izo.
and Izo. It's like, and I'm pretty sure Yasui didn't even get like mentioned like at the end of Wano. Like Zoro didn't even like talk about him or anything.
I think Zoro prayed at his grave, didn't he?
I think that was just in the anime.
I need to double check.
Do you remember like all the Kitetsu blades that was like set up, and like Luffy was holding like one of the Kitetsu blades, and obviously like Oda was going to do something with that, but then I guess he just dropped that. But the Kitetsu blades, he had like the one dude, the swordsmith, that was like at the beginning of the arc, if you remember, and then.
Like what did you want Oda to do with the blades?
I don't know, but like it was set up for obviously something. Maybe Zoro was going to like see the sword and be like, "Oh, I also have one of the Kitetsu blades," and was going to get the sword. But maybe he changed it last second to wanting him to get Odin's sword. But there was obviously
I think maybe the samurais used them.
Yeah, but it doesn't get explained. It's like set up, and then Oda doesn't do anything with it. Like he forgot about it.
I mean, to me, that just sounds like it was just lore. Like he's just explaining, oh, these blades exist.
No, but we already knew they exist, and then you have like one of his descendants of Kitetsu with one of the blades that he gives to Luffy. Obviously, that has like obviously they're going to do something with that. Maybe give it to Zoro, or Zoro says like something about it, but they just don't mention it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, so I don't know, dude, because none of these like really matter to me. Like when I read Wano, that doesn't take anything away from it for me.
Well, how about Big Mom being used as like a literal plot device? Like Big Mom gets so disrespected in that arc where she just loses her memories.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Against the people she's literally teamed up with. She teams up with Kaido. Oh, suddenly gets amnesia and then just starts like wrecking Kaido's crew. Like, what kind of writing is that?
I mean, that's
Big
fair.
Mom's just being used as a plot device.
Big Mom's always been like dumb as bricks. Like, even in Whole Cake Island, that's what she did though. She was like a menace to her own crew. Like Katakuri says, like if she just gets hungry, she'll kill all of us. You know, so
yeah, because of her hunger pains. Yeah, I have a problem with that in Whole Cake too. But like, you know, you would think that it would be different in Wano, but the fact that she just hits her head and just loses her memories like that for a hot minute, I don't know. I thought it was a little bit of lazy writing.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, one thing I liked about that though was there was this scene where Luffy was learning Rio, and like it seemed like a standard shonen moment where Big Mom just shows up and he's like, all right, block this attack from Big Mom with Rio. You have to evolve right now. And it just didn't work and Luffy got sent flying. I actually loved that. And then they also added that scene where Big Mom, like not using weapons, hockey, anything, like basically low diffed Queen in 2 punches. I liked that too. So like there was things out of that I liked. And also like she developed a bit of a relationship with Otama that like lasted even when she got her memories back. So I thought that was interesting too. Like there was things I got out of that I actually liked. But overall, I think Big Mom is like the lamest of all the Yonko. But and I've thought that about her for a while. But like I didn't really care. Like Big Mom's never really been respected, to be honest. Like even in Whole Cake Island, she wasn't respected.
mean, I don't have a problem with Big Mom being goofy. Like, I figured, like, during, what was it, the Fishman Island arc, you know, she was getting a bunch of hype, she was seeming menacing, but I figured Oda was going to subvert it and make her goofy. But I just have a problem with, like, basically making her a plot device where it's like, oh, how is, like, Otama and Nami going to get through this? Like, oh, well, now they just have Big Mom, so they can get through Kaido's crew. Just seems a little lazy.
I mean, I didn't really mind it. I liked having Big Mom, like, just randomly show up. And then when she gained her memories back, I liked that scene a lot, where they're just instantly terrified of her. Like, even Queen is terrified of her. I liked that scene a lot. I didn't really mind it.
Yeah, I have kind of a problem with Big Mom's fight too with Law and Kid, where it felt like she wasn't even like using like half her arsenal.
Oh, she's an idiot.
Like
she's a moron.
We know she has like Rio Hockey. We've literally seen her use it, and then she just like doesn't use it.
Yeah, she's an idiot.
She wasn't like doing half of the stuff that she could be doing in that fight.
I think like the way I've always viewed Big Mom is that she's like on par with base form Kaido, but she has like the intelligence of like the average baby. And that's kind of been her whole character. It's like, if she was smart, the raid would have ended. Like, they would have failed. But because Big Mom's an idiot, they just, like, leveraged that. That's the only reason they won. Like, if you analyze their fight, her whole fight style was just stupid as possible. Like, wasn't using Advanced Conqueror's Haki that often. Was just standing there letting them hit her, even though she knew they had like damage negation abilities. Like, she really genuinely has like the lowest fight intelligence in the story, I think. Like, actually one of the worst. But she's just so strong that she never needed to like be smart. She could just tank everything and still win, but that didn't work against Law and Kid. And even against Law and Kid, like I made a video talking about this. She fought them with the worst possible strategy and still almost won. There was a scene where like they were both like basically knocked out, and all she had done the whole time was just stand there, get hit by them, and then hit them back with like varying power, and she still almost won.
No sense.
I think it does make sense. She's just stupid. She's just an actual idiot.
Yeah, that I don't know. Yeah, I think Wano's pacing was also like pretty bad, but I think that's like a whole different. I guess getting back to it, I think there's like I think One Piece just kind of fell off during Wano. Like a lot of the stuff that I was having problems with before, like characters not getting shine, like Usopp and stuff, it just like felt like so much more prevalent in Wano, and then you just like realize, oh shit, like a lot of like the minor problems I had in One Piece just got like over exaggerated in Wano. I think that's like my main problem with it. So I'd say, yeah, but One Piece definitely kind of fell off during Wano a little bit.
So like, I mean, from your description, the things I'm hearing is like there's a lot of like small things that didn't go well. None of it's story breaking though, and then there's so many like insanely good things that happened. And it kind of seems like you just ignore all of those.
No. There's like really high highs, but then there's like really low lows. Is how I feel like Wano is. There's like great moments. Like I love Gear 5. I love like the first time when Luffy just like gets knocked down from Kaido. Not the first time, like the second time or whatever. Like Zunisha popping up. Like all that stuff was like amazing. But like I wouldn't even consider people consider Wano their favorite arc or in their top 3. It couldn't be for me. At least not with like a lot of glaring problems it has.
So like if I'm just remembering everything you said right, your biggest issues was like they mentioned some swords that didn't get mentioned again. You didn't like the Big Mom stuff, and what else was it? Like Usopp doesn't get time to shine?
Well, not just Usopp, but just characters in general, like Usopp, you know, Frankie.
I disagree with the Frankie point.
It's just like stuff they set up that they just don't fulfill on. Like Yamato saying she's going to join the crew, and then she just doesn't for like no reason.
Well, like the reason they gave is because Yamato's like staying with Momo because he can't like defend it on his own yet. He's not strong enough.
That's the dumbest thing. That's the dumbest thing ever. Like, Luffy literally claimed Wano as his territory. Like, people aren't going to go and mess with Wano if it's Luffy's territory. That's like the whole point of Yonko's claiming territory. Like, you get that, right? With,
but
like, Shanks.
I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. But
yeah, remember when Barto went and like burned Shanks's flag, and then they just like pulled up on him? Like, it's the same thing. People are not going to want to mess with Wano if Luffy just claims that as his territory. It doesn't make sense for Yamato to stay there.
But didn't Green Bull immediately pull up?
And immediately left. Well, yeah, but
like, so it shows some people still will. It's like, because Green Bull said like the only reason he wasn't going there was because Kaido. But now that Kaido's there, I don't care. I'm gonna pull up now. But yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they could have easily just been like, okay, Luffy claims as his territory. Yamato doesn't need to stay there.
That's true. I agree. But also, it's like, I don't really mind not having Yamato. Like, the thing I don't like about Yamato is that Yamato's not even like her own character yet. She's still like pretending to be Odin. I want Yamato to just be Yamato. Like, she's supposed to be.
And that could have been like a great character arc.
That might happen because she's supposed to be.
That's why I was expecting the character arc to be for Yamato, like to become their own person.
Well, I
was like assuming.
I would agree, like, that would have been 10 times better because she's introduced as the ogre princess. That's who she's, like, actually is, but she just wants to be Odin because she admires him. I think that's just a very, like, I do think that's just very dumb, and honestly, it's like, I don't want her on the crew until she overcomes that, like, weird complex she has. Like, I think that would be very interesting writing to see her just, like, accept that she's not Odin, and then I'd be all right with her on the crew.
Interesting writing too, but I don't think that warrants her like not being on the crew. I'd love to see her on the crew and going through that and just like finding herself, and in my opinion. But I like Yamato as a character.
But I like, my perspective on Wano is just like the highs are extremely high and the lows don't really bother me. That's kind of my view on Wano.
The lows don't bother you at all?
Not really, because it's all stuff I don't care about with characters I barely care about.
I guess we're just gonna have to agree to disagree.
I mean, like, I'd say, but they're like, my biggest complaints with Wano would just be like, Usopp doesn't do anything, and I would just say that's like my complaint with just Usopp in general. Like, Usopp has been a fraud almost all of post time skip, so that's not exclusive to Wano. That's like just post time skip. Usopp sucks, and Oda's doing a very bad job with him.
Just Rosa, he got like a little shine.
Yeah,
the observation hockey and sniped.
But bro, that was
Sugar.
like 12 years ago, real life time. Like,
I know.
So it's like that. Like, my big complaints with Wano are just like stuff that doesn't really bother me. Like, like me listing my biggest complaints with Wano, it's that it's like Usopp got no time to shine at all, and that might be it. Nothing.
You really have no problem with Big Mom in that arc, like,
well,
whatsoever.
she's always been dumb as bricks. Like, that's the same thing as her and like that. In my opinion, that's more just saying like Big Mom in general kind of sucks, which is kind of true. Like, she's not that good. I think she's the worst of all Yonko. So again, it's like that's not exclusive to Wano. Like, she was dumb as a child in Whole Cake Island. She was an actual buffoon, and like she was getting.
Yeah, she was the buffoon, but she was at least a menace. Like,
dude, she got styled on. She got styled on by Brook, Nami, and Jinbei. Like, Jinbei was like kind of clowning on her. Like, I had problems with her back then. Like, Jinbei clowned on her, dude, and she was kind of shown to just be like the weakest of the Yonko because she gets hungry after like 10 hours of not eating, and can just be clowned on by like people who aren't even 3rd division commander level at that point. Like, I'm not saying that's a Wano problem. I'm saying Big Mom herself is not that good.
Did you have a problem with any of the fake out deaths in Wano? Like Kinemon, like literally dying and then Oda going back on it?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
he does
that was a
He
problem.
does a
Yeah,
lot of fake out deaths.
yeah, that was a
Like
problem.
the Kinemon one was like played for it to like he played it in a way where you actually legit thought he was dead.
But that's
It
not
was,
even
like,
the first
extra
time.
level of-
But Oda did that
Yeah,
in
he does that
pre-time
a
skip
lot.
too.
He did a lot in pre-time skip, but a lot of them was like, oh, he releases like a chapter of what do you call it? Just the cover pages, like he did with Pell and stuff.
Yeah, the Pell one I think is like worse, honestly, because like Pell saved the town, like sacrificing his life. That was the whole thing, and then he just gets no repercussions from it. With Kinemon, it was just he got iced, like he didn't do anything. He didn't.
Yeah, but like I think it would have been way better for the story if it wasn't a fake out death.
I agree with that.
Because who in Wano who died do you like actually like care about?
I cared about Ashura
Like,
Doji.
genuinely. Yeah, he was cool. But besides Ashura Doji, like like Yasui was cool. I didn't really
Yeah.
care that much that he died, to be honest.
I thought it was
no
a
one
very
knew.
sad death.
It was very sad.
He died
I
while
think
getting
it would be
laughed
good.
at in front of his daughter. It was horrible. Like that was actually like one of the darker deaths in One Piece. Like
I just mean we've had Kinemon since like Punk Hazard, and I think it would have a lot more emotional impact.
also
The arc
Conjuro
would have
died.
been a lot more. Who?
Conjuro, the traitor, the clown guy, he dies.
Oh, the fraud? Who cares about? Nobody cares about that guy.
I mean, I'm happy he died. Like, I love the
No one
betrayal.
liked them.
No, dude, the betrayal with him, that was actually peak writing. I didn't see that coming at all. That he was like a traitor giving information away the whole time. That was good.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
then-
see that either. That was pretty good.
And then what are your... I mean, dude, like, the big thing I just can't get past when people say they dislike Wano, it arguably has the best flashback in all of One Piece.
I don't dislike Wano. Let me preface this. Like I said, One Piece, one of my favorite manga. I don't dislike Wano. I just think it like fell off.
Well, what do you... I mean,
I don't know.
I just really can't agree with that because it did so many, like, OG One Piece things, like OG One Piece. Like, look at the Odin flashback, bro. Like,
Yeah, the Odin flashback was amazing.
that's
Born
what I...
to be boiled.
And dude, that was like 40 chapters. Like that was a lot of it. Like it was a lot of it. Like so by your own words, a large portion of Wano is amazing.
Yeah, it's
So
a large
how can it-
portion, But the bad stuff was really bad too.
I mean-
It's my other point.
I mean, like if we honestly add up
Guys,
all the...
always was.
If we add up all of the stuff you like, we might get to a point where we say half of Wano is not just good, half of Wano is amazing. But like the lows you have are based on characters that don't matter that much. Other than the things we both agree on, like Usopp's been trash, Big Mom's not that good. Other than that, all of the lows you're describing are based on like side characters.
Well, here's the thing. Oda probably shouldn't have introduced so many side characters if they were going to be bad. You know
Well,
what
I mean,
there were so many
but
characters
I think
in
he does
Wano.
that in
There's
pre-time
so
skip
many
too.
moving parts. Not like Wano. There were so many like side characters in Wano, and if you're saying that, then he should have just made a tighter arc with less characters. Then, like, I'm not going to just ignore that those characters like don't exist or something. They still exist. They were
That's
in
fair.
the arc, and they weren't that great.
That's fair, but I think every arc has some side characters that are kind of like trash. Well, not I don't know. I mean I hear what you're saying. I just I guess I'm not saying I disagree. I don't know. I do disagree. I don't think One Piece fell off at Wano at all, especially because like if you read the arcs after, like some of the craziest stuff in One Piece happens after Wano, dude. Like honestly,
Well,
the biggest lore
I
drop.
agree. Like the Shank stuff, Emu, it's all amazing. But like I said, I kind of dropped that one. I was reading a bit of Egghead, and then I was just like,
Have you read any of the Apocalypse stuff?
no.
Dude, that's, in my opinion, that's the crazy... It changed the way I saw all of One Piece, and it happens after Wano. So I can't say it fell off after Wano. Like, I remember when the Apocalypse chapters dropped, I'm like, this is like a terrifying manga to read. Like, it's kind of scary, like, what's happening in their world, bro.
I will go back to getting caught up to One Piece, but like
You got it.
I'll stand by. Like I will. I'll stand by that. Wano was great. It was amazing, but it had a lot of problems, and a lot of problems that were like minor in other arcs, but just like way worse in Wano. I feel like
That's a fair stance. Well, all right. How about so all that's left is Anno, and we have Lenny in here too. An- What's up, Lenny? How you doing, bro?
I just came back from the hospital.
Oh, are you doing all right?
Yeah. I'm doing fine. I was with my grandmother. I was actually texting in chat. I've been texting in chat the entire time.
Oh, I didn't even look at the chat, like the
Yeah,
Discord
it was
one.
so fun.
Sorry, bro. I didn't see any of those. But real quick, Lenny, just because Anna was waiting for a long time, Anna, would you like to share, and then we'll go to Lenny?
Oh yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
Okay, I'm good. Yeah, I wanted to talk about, I do think One Piece has been like consistently like great. It probably has it has incredible consistency considering it's been going on like 30 years or something.
I agree.
Like there was never a point where I was like, this series is bad. Ever. There was never a time where I was like, this is bad. Not
I
even
agree.
at like Thriller Bark, which I consider like the worst arc. Even in Thriller Bark, I'm like, this is still good. Like I still like this.
I agree. The consistency is insane
Yeah,
because I haven't seen another manga run this long do that. Like the only other super long manga I've read is Hajime no Ippo. It has around the same amount of chapters, and there's moments in Ippo where I'm like, this is low key a little bit trash. Like some of this is kind of bad, but sorry, go ahead.
Well, I would say one example that I think also is it's generally consistently good is like JoJo.
Oh yeah,
Even though
that's
it's broken up into parts. It's like I would say JoJo is good all the way through. Although I don't like part 2 that much, honestly. But anyway, I guess what I was saying about One Piece is I think I have different complaints. Like I didn't have that much of a problem with Wano. Like if things I would complain about, this one's like most people would agree with is I think that the Straw Hats got to have a lot of issues after the time skip. Even before the time skip, to be honest, I never liked Frankie. I never liked Brooke. I kind of wish they just weren't in there. Jinbei, I'm like, I liked him. I kind of wish he wasn't such a big deal, though. Like they made him a member of the crew. I'm like, he didn't really need to be.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and I think that's actually fair. When you have a cast this big, I think it's fair to just dislike some of them. I don't think they all have to be likable. Like, in most stories, I don't like all of the main cast, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Oh, hold on. Okay, sorry. I was just saying, so that was like one issue that I think is probably my overall biggest issue. And even that's not that bad. I would say my second biggest issue is it's just like slightly immersion breaking with like Luffy, all the stuff with Luffy where he's like Nika, and it's like the world government's been hunting the fruit for however many years, and it's like, okay, they were just letting this guy like run around. Clearly they must have known. There's no way they didn't know, or else the world government is like retarded. Like they've been hunting the fruit for like 800 years, and they never found it. But then this guy gets it, who like anyone in the government that's like even at one point, even like a vice admiral would like easily capture him in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But they just couldn't, they just didn't do anything.
No, that is a good point. I mean, I think that is a solid complaint. Like, how could they not why didn't they capture Luffy by now? I think that's a solid complaint.
Yeah, and it's like the only argument would be like, well, they weren't worried about it. But Emu felt Joy Boy's hockey one time from like halfway across the planet and literally had a panic attack. So I'm like, okay, if it's that big a deal to you, like maybe go stop this guy. Like it would be so easy to like even if you're not gonna kill him, like I get the argument, oh, they wouldn't kill him because then the fruit would just go somewhere else. But it's like, okay, well, do whatever Blackbeard did. Like you're telling me the world government that's like 800 years old has the most resources. They couldn't figure out a way to do what Blackbeard did, where he stole the fruit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I do think that is a legitimate problem. Like, I mean, they do say that like they've been trying to get the fruit for 800 years and just never could. Like it just kept eluding them somehow. But it does seem like they know that if you have like rubber powers, you probably have the sun god fruit, and like you would think, they would just capture.
The one. Sorry, I guess what I was gonna say real quick is I think that like the one argument you could make, and this is probably where the story is gonna go with it, is Luffy is somehow backed by fate, which has been like protecting him, and it like canonically explains his plot armor. Because sometimes his plot armor is crazy. Like you would think Shanks is not even like a real person, but like Luffy's guardian angel or something. The way it's like when Luffy's in trouble, it's like, oh, here comes Shanks from like half the planet away. He's come to save Luffy again.
It is a good point. Yeah, like in Marineford and in Wano.
Yeah, like that's one of the craziest scenes to me, by the way, is like Shanks just pulls up and like the friggin' admiral like basically craps his pants. He's like, I gotta get out of here. It's Shanks.
Yeah, that is a wild scene.
That's like, to me, that's like the biggest argument. I think that's why people who think Shanks is stronger than Mihawk, like that's the most solid argument, is that in the story, everyone is like 100 times more scared of Shanks than they are of Mihawk.
True.
Like literally Vista will jump in front of Mihawk, but then like Shanks shows up and everyone like pisses their pants.
True. I agree with that. That's true. I mean, no, that honestly is, I think, probably Wano's biggest problem is like, why didn't they capture Luffy earlier? I think that is the biggest problem. So I think that's a legitimate, like, very solid complaint, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest problem with the series, and I think that would be it. And that and the characters thing, where it's like, I really think some of the Straw Hats shouldn't be Straw Hats. I also was upset that Yamato didn't join, just because, really more than anything, just because it's like a tease, you know? And it's like, it's even worse because we get this huge cover story that's been going on forever about Yamato.
Yeah. I think, like, what they're gonna do is, like, in the final battle, Yamato will pull up, probably.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, like, the final battle would be, like, is gonna be, like, the craziest thing ever. Because it's, like, literally everyone will be there. Like, probably those two dudes no one remembers that were, like, Zoro's best friends.
Oh, yeah.
That were, like, bounty hunters that were, like, they're gonna be there. And they're gonna do something. Like, it's gonna be the craziest shit ever.
I'm actually the most hyped to see Bon Clay reunite. I think the Bon Clay Luffy reunite is gonna be actually insane.
Dude, Bon Clay was like the sickest. That was the most surprising. I think this is my thoughts about when people talk about like Enies Lobby, because I think most people are like either Enies Lobby, usually Enies Lobby, or like Impel Down and Marineford are like the top arcs. I think it's like interesting. It's like different reasons, and it just depends on what you prefer. Like, I think Enies Lobby did the best at like the typical One Piece formula, where it's like, okay, we come to a place and we got to solve a problem, and there's a big fight at the end, and Luffy beats the bad guy, and that was like the best execution of that, and it had like pretty much the highest stakes in terms of like literally we were gonna like the whole crew was gonna disband, and we were gonna lose one of the Straw Hats. With Marineford, it was almost like the whole story was just turned on its head. Like from Sabaody on, it's like literally it's like an entirely different format, but it's still good. Like we don't even have like any of the main crew except Luffy, but it's still like super entertaining and cool. And I think that was what was great about that part of the story.
I agree.
Especially with the ending where like, you know, Ace dies. Like that shit was, I'm not even kidding, I knew Ace died. I literally thought like I misremembered and made that up in my head and was surprised when he died anyway. Because I'm like, there's no way he's gonna die. This is fucking One Piece. Pell didn't die.
Yeah. I remember reading that and it was just so crazy. Like, I agree with pretty much everything you said. And I, like, what you said there, I would view that as a really solid complaints for against Wano. But for me, it's like, it still doesn't make me dislike the arc. Like, I don't know, the arc just has so many like incredible moments in it. But yeah, what you said is a solid, like some very solid complaints. I think out of everything that's been said today, like your complaints are the ones that I agree with the most, actually.
Yeah, and I think I guess if I had a minor, this isn't even like that much of a complaint. It's like a gripe because I know it could have been better. Is like with Marineford. I wish that Ace, we had spent more time with him. Like, I wish he was almost like an unofficial Straw Hat at one point or something, because it would have hit so much harder. Like, imagine Marineford, but like Zoro dies. That would literally be like the Aerith dies in Final Fantasy VII of like all of anime. It would be like the biggest deal ever. It would be the biggest spoiler in anime.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, in the anime, they do add like a filler arc where Ace does travel with the crew for like 20 episodes or so. But yeah, that isn't in the actual manga itself. I mean, I remember when I read Ace's death, it still like shook me bad. Like, out of all the anime deaths I've seen, that one still is up there for me. It's like one of the saddest.
Yeah, I think it does a good job at being shocking. Like, it almost uses the One Piece format to its advantage in that way. Like, if One Piece was like JJK or something, or like early JJK, or like Berserk or some shit, like, you would completely believe that Ace would die. Because One Piece is One Piece, like I said, I was literally spoiled and thought I made the spoilers up in my head. I literally didn't believe it was going to happen when I knew it was going to happen. Like, that's how surprising it was.
Yeah, it was insane because they had already won. It seemed like there was no way. Like, Luffy had already overcome so many impossible things, and then he died to something completely avoidable. It was crazy. And then the other thing that made Ace's death hit harder, like, the last words he says to Luffy are just like heartbreaking, dude. Like, they're insane. Like, his last words are actually heartbreaking because you can tell he went through his whole life like hating his life, except for like when he was around Luffy. So that was crazy. And then another thing was how Luffy's reaction to it. Like, we had never seen Luffy break before. Like, he actually mentally broke. And he's always been like so strong mentally throughout the rest of the series. And like the final piece that like drove it really home for me was they showed Luffy with legitimate PTSD. Like, afterwards, like after the war, he's like looking at his hands and he's seeing like Ace's blood on them, like having flashbacks, like he's like crashing out, going crazy. And then they go into the backstory of Ace and Luffy and they give you like a 30-40 like chapter heartbreaking backstory of like how close they were. And then as soon as the backstory, like, dude, it hit so hard because like the backstory ends with like Ace saying he's never going to die, and then like the next panel it's just Luffy crying, and it's just crazy. Like, in the actual reality where Ace did die, it was like a heartbreaking anime death. I have it up there, and like it to me it actually might be number one still, even still.
Do you guys mind if I jump in on the reminiscence since we're reminiscing?
Can you hold on, dude?
Yeah, in a second. But yeah, Anno, did you have any other points you wanted to share? And then we'll go to Lenny.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I think here's my one thing that I forgot. I think the One Piece villains, this is just me personally, I find them a little weak. Like, they're good, they're all right, but I think it's like, to me, like, my favorite villains in anime generally are in like Naruto. I think like the Naruto villains are great. Like, Obito is like one of my favorite villains in anything. So I guess I find the villains a little weak in One Piece compared to some series.
I agree.
Maybe that's just me, but
no, I agree with that. Like, I think Hunter x Hunter has some of the best villains. Like, I mean, if you count Meruem and Hisoka and Crollo.
Yeah, Meruem especially I think is really good, like his arc. But I think like my favorite villain in One Piece actually is NL, just because like his introduction is so mysterious and like weird, where it's like you don't even see him, like you just see him like blast people with lightning from like a mile away. Like people just talk bad about him and they get hit by lightning. I'm like, that's actually the scariest a One Piece villain ever was, like ever. There's nothing any villain has done that in the moment was as scary as that. It's like someone literally said something about him somewhere in the island, and he was like, "You're dead."
Yeah, no, that was insane. I think Skypiea is like underrated, honestly. But
yeah, I think Skypiea. Yeah, I wanted to say this real quick. Sorry, just because you brought it up, is I think Skypiea. The weak parts kind of suck, like the beginning and the main cast or whatever. Like of the characters where they get introduced to that they're friends with. But I think it really picks up once you get into that flashback. Was really good. And
Yeah.
then like the conflict with NL was cool, and like the mystery of him.
Yeah, I agree. I actually completely agree with that. I love the flashback especially. But okay, so yeah.
Really.
Oh, sorry.
And it's interesting too is that like NL didn't even really lose. Like he just kind of lost, and then he has like the coolest like cover story ever by far, where he goes to the moon and like uncovers lore.
Yeah, he meets aliens, which is pretty crazy. But
Yeah, it's like crazy. Okay, well, yeah. Anyway, thanks for letting me talk. It was cool.
oh yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for sharing your points. Okay, so yeah, Lenny was next, and then Pope Pedro. You could share the things that you wanted to. Oh,
Give me like 1 second. I'm ordering Chinese food.
oh, all right.
I was waiting, but
Yeah.
I'll go after Mr. Lenny.
I think.
Alright, I'm back.
Oh, okay, that was fast. Okay, yeah, Lenny, you could go, and then I think Pope Pedro wanted to share like a meme or something, and Type wanted to go too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we've been going for a minute now, so we'll wrap this up soon. So Lenny, you could share your points, and then Pope Pedro's meme real quick, and then Type.
Oh Lord. Okay, listen, in all honesty, okay, I just came here just because I heard someone earlier talk about like whole cake that I just disagree with in terms of like Nami's development. But like I'm mainly on your side. Of course I can say I disagree with certain things like Fishman Island, like Horty Jones. To me he wasn't the greatest villain. Like I understand his motives and I understand what Oda was trying to do. But he was just lame for me. He wasn't no Arlong.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
You know what I'm saying? But I understand when people are having a problem of post time skip where we have like way too many characters. Like I understand that aspect because there's some characters that you're just not going to care about. You can make the argument for Egghead saying that, oh, but Egghead, they're showing off different people. That's because those people were already established, and a lot of people end up liking them due to the war arc that was shown beforehand. And all of pre-time skip is showing off these characters. Like, let me give my thoughts on Marineford. Marineford, we was basically setting up a lot of characters that was going to show up later in the story that was foreshadowed. The admirals, Whitebeard, of course, and it introduced a lot of characters, like of course Whitebeard's crew, and showing familiar characters, which made honestly that arc really good in the first place. Where we have in just Rosa, it's like the complete opposite, where it's just like, okay, these characters are cool, but like I don't really care about them that much. Me personally, I like a lot of characters in just Rosa, like Bartolomeo. I think he's really funny. Okay, no Bartolomeo slander, respectfully, of course. But then we go to Wano, where a lot of people have their problem, where no one just cares about the people that are there. Like, I understand that you care about the lore a lot about One Piece, and in post time skip, it's trying to ease you in with adding these new characters. But since this series has been going on for so long, a lot of people just wanted the other Straw Hats to actually do something. Now, they don't necessarily need to get a whole big another character development, except a select few, like Usopp, he really does. We all know that post-time skip Usopp really wasn't it. His character assassination was just disgusting, honestly, in my opinion. But with someone like Zoro, how we literally just see his family tree at SBS, which honestly I think is just such a disservice. And you could argue that Zoro could have done more with it.
I agree. I mean, I agree with that.
I wouldn't say One Piece has fell off, though. I wouldn't argue against that, because it's not like we didn't have a bad arc within One Piece. But there's a reason why people are going to say that, because how disappointed they felt when they seen or read Wano in the first place. It wasn't like Foxy, like, in my opinion, Foxy's a whole different thing, right? It wasn't like the Foxy arc when people were just like, all right, this is just too much. I don't like it that much. Like, it was like a little split with it, with Foxy. As in Wano, it was getting hyped up to the max, and it was just straight up disappointment. Someone else was making a point about Big Mom. I know you said Big Mom is dumb, and it's expected to her to be dumb, which is understandable. It showed her didn't have that much intelligence, but doesn't mean she's completely just stupid, because she is. She has a whole fleet and a whole island, and she is a Yonko. Yes, she has a lot of strength, but she's not a Yonko for no reason, and they could have made her more threatening in Wano instead of getting dogged on by the Straw Hats, which honestly just made it even worse to show, like, oh, the Yonkos can get just easily dissed by the Straw Hats. Of course, Kaido's a different story, but Kaido actually felt like a medicine because you didn't know how Luffy was going to beat him, unlike Big Mom. And I like Big Mom. And I was just upset that she's just getting...
I would say that's not really a Wano problem, though, because she had that problem in Whole Cake. I think that's a Big Mom problem. Like, she was dumb in Whole Cake, too, and she was getting, like...
She was dumb in Whole Cake, but in Whole Cake she actually felt like more of a threat. Like, Luffy literally just went gear for just trying to punch her, and then immediately she bounced him off, which I liked.
But
by the way,
she had this scene where she got, like, thrown off the ship by Jinbei, though, and, like, she literally almost got killed by Brook. Like, when she was flying on Zeus, and then Brook just chopped Zeus. And then Nami turned Zeus into lightning, and I think she was falling into the ocean. She almost died there. So, like,
yeah, they did show those. They did show those parts, and I do understand that. But overall, arching, even besides those moments, she still felt like a presence because the Straw Hats literally were running away from her. I mean, I understand that they're on her territory, but it just felt like she was much more of a threat. Besides her being dumb, which that is a trait that she has, so it's consistent within that territory. I just wish Oda didn't have to execute it in that way. That is just honestly my opinion and how I feel about that with Big Mom.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, it's hard for me to wrap my head around reading Wano and being disappointed, though, because I read Wano and, like, just got hyped and thought it was cool and liked a lot of the stuff I was seeing. But, I mean,
well, some people have different expectations. Remember, Lilos, you typically like a lot of the lore in One Piece and like to get introduced to new characters, while other people, you might argue, a lot of people just don't like the fact that we're always constantly just getting new characters. Which new characters isn't bad, but the fact that we get too much of it can be overbearing and honestly exhausting because we want to see more of the Straw Hats.
Yeah, that's fair. I suppose that's fair. So, I mean, yeah, if my whole perspective was like, I just want, like, because that was some of the arguments I was hearing earlier, people saying they just wanted to see the Straw Hats interact with each other more, and you don't get that much. I could see that being a complaint. But I don't know. I mean, none of that is enough to, like, override all the good things that happen in Wano for me, to be honest.
No, I understand that. You know, everyone has their own different types of enjoyability. You know, I personally wanted more Zoro within Wano.
More Zoro.
But that's just me, and a whole lot of people. But you know, that's just me, and not his family tree and an SPS. I'm sorry.
He did get some really crazy moments on the rooftop, though. Like he was.
No, he did. No,
he had some crazy moments
on
it. Like blocking a combined Yonko attack was insane. That was actually.
Oh
insane.
yeah. You just reminded me. Another thing you said about the paneling. That was a way back. I don't know if it was last stream because I was trying to listen in while I was at the hospital. So. With the paneling, I just want to say about the paneling for One Piece. The paneling is not the greatest. And I want to say this right now. And I understand when you said, oh, if you don't like Hunter x Hunter, if you don't like One Piece paneling, you're not going to like a Hunter x Hunter because you're not a Hunter x Hunter fan. I can disagree with that. Let me tell you why. Typically, when people just want to read manga, they like seeing the pictures. Not saying it's bad to add a lot of text. But when you constantly do it all the times, over the pictures, you want to see the cool illustrations, it can be like, all right, it's a lot of lore dumping, which when you go to Hunter x Hunter, it's just practically a novel. Just make it a novel at this point. There's no point of just making it a manga and we're just going to OD on it. Once or twice or a few times, that's fine, but when you're constantly doing it, it can get too much. On top of that, I've seen some people have complaints about the way the fights were panel because it was difficult for them to keep up. Not the category fight. That fight, in terms of the way it was structured, it was actually good. But that's why people consider One Piece to be the weakest in terms of like how it looks like in the fight scenes and paneling out of the big three. Of course, there's other mangas that would do better paneling than One Piece. Is One Piece the worst? No, I wouldn't say that. It's far worse paneling than One Piece. but I wouldn't say One Piece necessarily has the greatest paneling. Something I want to say. Again, this is not my argument saying One Piece fell off, because I don't think One Piece fell off at all, because what we're getting after was completely worth it after Wano, in my opinion. Way worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole argument, like, I really don't think there's a good argument for saying One Piece fell off at all, to be honest, because it's just like, right now, we are so far in the story and it's still, like, insanely good, and it genuinely seems like the best is yet to come. Like, the final war seems like it's just going to be insane.
And honestly, I can't wait for it. And again, someone already brought it up about the fake out deaths. Oda has been doing fake out deaths for so long. At this point, you're just going to expect it. But the problem with Oda, he just likes to make it seem like it's not going to be a fake out death, which that's something I don't like. He did it so many times to the point that it's annoying, because what happened with Pell, Vivi's assistant, like, boom, that's one fake out death. Another fake out death, Sky PM. Everyone, Sky PM. Boom, they survive. Another fake out death. Then you just keep constantly more fake out deaths and fake out deaths and fake out deaths. And of course, when someone actually dies, you get surprised. But like the fact that there's just so many fake out deaths, it's honestly annoying. A lot of people say not that much people die in post time skip, which I disagree. I've seen a lot of people die in post time skip.
Yeah, Wano had a lot of deaths, actually.
A lot more deaths in the post time skip than there were in pre-time skip. In pre-time skip, it was just a lot of fake out deaths, and 2 important people died. Freaking Bon Clay survived. I didn't even know Bon Clay survived until years later. Like, because I didn't even know. It's unless you read the cover stories.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, overall, like, I just think that there's not, to be completely honest, to just sum everything up, I don't think there's a strong argument for One Piece fell off. Like, the common thing I've seen today, we've had a lot of different people speak. Everyone who said, like, One Piece fell off, most of it was just, like, complaining about very small things, and then they said they're not even caught up. That's
so let me,
a common theme I've seen.
2 things let me add to that. One, some people just watch One Piece but just don't like the way it's going, or like have the different type of expectations because they hear it's like, oh, it's the best thing, but it's not really their show, but to continue watching it because other people say. That's one. 2, some people say it fell off after they like read or watch Wano. It's because, the amount of years you had to wait for Wano to be finished and the way it concluded, some people are not going to be satisfied over that. Some people are going to just complain and just be like, all right, I'm exhausted. We're doing too much. So I can understand why a lot of people don't like Wano, because imagine going through that week. Besides you, of course. You're the exception. But going through that arc week to week, you're like, okay, I want to get to the Straw Hats. I want to get to this person. I want to get to Luffy. I want to get to Zoro. Why is Luffy losing like 4 different times? What is going on?
To be honest, I don't even think I'm the exception, because, like, for one, this is like a Hunter x Hunter channel, so I was expecting a lot of people to come in who hadn't read One Piece and just like talk badly about it. But I think like a lot of people love Wano. Like, I don't think I'm just like a small percentage. I think a lot of people love Wano, to be honest. It might actually be the more common take.
If we're gonna go based on your community, I will highly disagree, because I have been in that chat and they're not saying that at all.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, my chat is also like dude, like, my chat barely even knows One Piece, bro. If I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, I've posted polls before where it's like very basic common sense One Piece knowledge stuff, and they just like didn't understand it at all. So like,
I mean, yeah, it became a Hunter x Hunter channel, which I always find funny, because you used to do One Piece videos, and I see some of your new fans just get so surprised. They're like, wait, you know One Piece?
Well, dude, like, I mean, a good way to put it in perspective, I left a post saying, like, One Piece is my favorite manga, Hunter x Hunter's number 2, and my community, like, started crashing out over that. People are like, what? One Piece is trash. So it shows you, like, my community doesn't even know One Piece, man. So my community is not a good place to, like, really look for like what the popular consensus on One Piece actually is, because most of them haven't even read it. Like, we've seen that even tonight, like, even today, like, out of everyone who's spoken, I think maybe one person was caught up, and I don't even know if even one person was. I don't know if we've even had one person who was caught up in the manga speak. We had someone who read 50 chapters talking badly about One Piece, so it's like,
I was trying to text you in the chat, yo, bro. Kenny's just gonna fraud his way into it because the arguments he was making it could easily be debunked. Because legit, one of his points was, there's One Piece has been out for years. It's still popular, but like there's other popular manga. Therefore, like One Piece is this, and that. But One Piece has been being in the top 5s or top 10s after going on for so long. Not everyone that's new to manga is going to automatically jump to a big series like that. Well, and the fact that it's established like that in the first place or just popular, it just speaks volumes.
I mean, the best example of it is like compare One Piece to Ippo. They're about the same age, and like One Piece does like 10,000 times better than Ippo does. But
okay, yo, Ippo's not even dating, but it's a whole different discussion.
Most people don't even talk about Ippo. Like if you type in like Ippo into YouTube, there's like 0 Ippo YouTubers. But like you type in One Piece into YouTube, there's like hundreds of One Piece YouTubers. So it's an incredible series. But I think next we'll move on to Pope Pedro. Was there anything, like one last thing you wanted to say, Lenny?
Me? Okay. No, not really. We can chat after this though, or like if you want to catch me on a different stream, we can.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good, bro. So yeah, Pope Pedro, you wanted to share something?
Yes. So four exact things, and I'll summarize them. It'll be the Whitebeard death, the man who's made to boil, Oda death. It will be the Conquer Hawking Awakening for Luffy, and then finally it'll come down to my verdict on Wano.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Wano, I was loving all up until this very moment, and it also kind of combined 2 points. The best death in Wano, in One Piece, in my opinion, is Oda.
Oda? You mean Odin?
Into that pot, yeah, Odin.
Mm-hmm.
When he was told the means of his execution and what he'd have to do to survive, and he came up with the 500 IQ idea of, okay, I'm jumping in the pot, and everybody get on top. I thought that was legendary.
It was legendary.
The final moment came where he knows he's about to die. His strength is literally giving out. He's literally got the crew on his back, and he gives them their final mission, which was like a blast off. I remember that panel so vividly because everybody's like dashing off in the different directions. Like, we're going to have to split up and we're going to figure this out, and we'll all meet and we'll all come back. We're going to do what he said. And he just tells them to go open up Wano, and launches them. I thought that was awesome. And then I hated that death as well because if you remember, Whitebeard had Odin a part of his crew. He was his Nakama. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
What makes no sense is this. When Whitebeard loaned out Odin to Roger to get to Laugh-Tale to see the One Piece, do you remember how Whitebeard was acting? He was saying stuff like, there ain't no, this is... I thought you were a real pirate. I'm not just giving you over my Nakama. Mm-hmm. How deep this hits back is there's a scene where before Whitebeard is on Rox's crew, he's on this like nobody's crew, and everybody forgets this scene, but Whitebeard is like sitting off to the side while the other pirates are like counting treasure, and the captain of the crew that Whitebeard is a part of is like, what's more valuable to a pirate than gold? And if we all know Whitebeard, what has he always wanted? A family.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do you remember that?
Yep.
I just want to be a dad. That's all I want. What made no sense about Wano was this. The specific way Odin was killed, when he got absolutely cheated and then shot by Kaido, there ain't no way, and he's still a prime Whitebeard in this moment. He's not sick at all during this moment in Wano. There ain't no way he does not pull up. Remember how he pulled up for Ace?
That's true.
I was like, oh snap, tell everybody. We're going through the front gate. And then he had that cool walk-up moment where he's just like telling everybody, I'm here to pick up Ace. Anybody in the way dies. You're telling me that guy, that man, allowed Odin to get slaughtered and he didn't pull up the Wano? Makes no sense.
Well, I would just say,
damn sense.
I would just say he like didn't know that Odin was getting executed.
Wow. Odin is the emperor of Wano. Kaido is an emperor of the sea. Everybody across the seas heard about what happened to Odin. There ain't no way.
I don't know. He might.
Especially if it's Nakama. He would check up on him. He would come and visit, like, yo, bro, what's up? We were pulling through the neighborhood. What?
But yeah, I don't know. I
Where's
don't know if it
Kaido?
was like posted in the news or anything.
Well, then I don't think it has to be posted in the news because you have two pirates who are well connected in the underworld. Whitebeard has crews roaming all throughout the seas. Somebody's gonna figure out, hey, we haven't heard from Odin in a minute, and we can't get into Wano. I'm telling Dad. I'm telling Whitebeard. And what's gonna happen next is like he's just gonna say, yeah, we're pulling up. We're just gonna figure it out, and if somebody wants to smoke, we're gonna give it to him. That's what Whitebeard's character is.
Sorry, I wanted to ask something. Did Ace learn what happened to him when he went there? Like, remember when he went there and talked to Yamato? Because you'd figure Ace would tell him.
Yo, guys, did you guys read the series? The chapter, it explained it. No, I'm talking about Arnold. He said, did Ace know? They had Ace had an argument about it. That's why he went to Wano to begin with. Because he found out about Odin. And he's like, yo, why did you guys pull up? And Izo said, we found out years after. And then Marco was like, a bunch of, if we go, there's a lot of casualty that's going to happen, and Odin's already dead. So it's like, we're going to go fight Kaido and whoever else is there, and we don't know, like, who's going to, like, multiple people of the crew could probably die, and Whitebeard's avoiding that. And
That makes
That doesn't sound like Whitebeard. That's not Whitebeard's character.
I'm saying you brought up him going to save Ace. Ace was still alive. I'm saying him going to Odin. Odin's already dead.
I think a little different is like Whitebeard was also.
Here's this, bro. This is the other problem that you have. You're gonna tell me that Whitebeard, Rock Pirate, Prime, Emperor of the Sea at this moment, is going to hear that somebody in his crew got pistol whipped to death, and he's not doing anything for it? Doesn't make sense.
I think he just
Doesn't
didn't.
add up.
I think he just didn't want to lose crew members.
He said he has a family to protect. That was the point. Because he's going to go to war with another Yonko, so there's going to be casualties for that. And to accomplish what? Odin's already gone. What are we doing this for?
Yeah, it would just be revenge.
Remember Ace? Ace was already gone.
Ace was
Whitebeard
still
saw
alive.
Ace die, and he said, we're going down. And he went berserker mode with like four Marines in his chest and just said, oh.
He was already going to die the minute Akainu hit him the first time in the chest. He made sure everyone else was gone before he went out in his blaze of glory, but
That don't make sense either.
What?
One second.
He was already
One
dead.
second. That don't make sense. Wait, 1 second. That don't make sense either. Garp. We just saw Garp demonstrate his power levels. I don't understand how he didn't kill Akainu after he saw him kill Ace right there.
Well, he was going to, but Sengoku's.
This is the reason why One Piece doesn't make sense to me. I just don't get it. I was lost.
But
in the
Garp
sauce when I saw
Garp did say.
when I saw Garp blow up the island, and I thought back to, wait, is this the same dude who just got rammed his face into the ground by the Sengoku character? Like, I don't understand. What?
No, it's just
dude,
Sengoku's just super strong too.
And then lunchtime comes and he doesn't want to fight anymore. It's like, what happened to that energy 5 minutes ago in the classroom?
Nah, dude, it's just that Sengoku's also really strong, and like Garp straight up did say, like, if he lets me go, I'm going to kill Akainu.
Yeah, I just don't feel like Sengoku could have the smoke to hold him down that long.
No, dude, they were like on par with each other. They were on par.
I feel that, But one is bloodlusted and just saw their child got slaughtered in front of them. That's a power amp. I know we don't believe in emotions being power amps, but I do. I think that's a power amp, if anything.
I agree.
think the power of friendship goes nuts. And he would have been like, "Oh no, a piece of the rainbow has shattered in front of my eyes. I'm turning into the Megazord. I'm knocking this dude into the Milky Way galaxy."
I mean,
this is where One Piece, it's a love-hate relationship with me, because I'm just like, what is happening right now?
I don't know, man. I see what you're saying, but
why wasn't this the vibe when Ace died? Where was this energy?
I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I do think there's explanations to all of it. But real quick, Pope Pedro, is there anything else you wanted to just say, like in like 1 minute here, just any last point, and then we'll move on to Type. Like, I think we can have Type and Lost Piece share their last things, and then we'll finish the stream. This has been a long one, 3 hours.
Yeah, I really wanted to jump on the reminiscent with Wano, because my favorite moment in One Piece so far is when Luffy socks Kaido with Advanced Conquerors Hockey, because I love the whole flashback and Kaido's smiling and he smirks, and then the animation went nuts on it because it's just black, and then you hear the and then the golden line comes out of nowhere, and you just see Luffy on the other side like, "Yes, I caught Mewtwo. Let's go. It's happening now." And I just thought that was like, I'm back. I was back in the series for that moment. But I was experiencing fatigue up until that moment, because I was like, no, we're going to die again. This arc will never end.
Yeah, no, I love the Advanced Conquerors Hockey scene. I thought it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I loved it personally.
But I'm done spurging. I'm sorry that I was yelling.
No, you're good.
I was just passionate. Yeah.
No, you're good. Thanks for sharing.
I'm calm now.
That's good. Thanks for sharing your points, though, man. And so yeah, we can have Type and then Lost Piece share, and then we'll close out the stream.
Okay. Well, I'm actually a glazer of One Piece. I have no complaints about One Piece. I kind of feel like you in your first stream before you ended it, having to listen to all this nonsense.
Oh yeah, you were in the first one?
Yeah, I was listening.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to say, in the first stream, I think when you were reacting to the video, did you say that the Straw Hats don't develop?
Wait, did he say nonsense? I have to defend myself.
Well,
No.
not just you.
No, he was talking about like previous stuff.
Specifically you, but
I have my mid awakened. My mid can go for 5 miles.
Hey, I'm here for a while. We can speak after.
Yeah, let him talk, Pedro. Let him speak.
Yeah, I would love to talk to anybody who has complaints, because Lilo, you were supposed to be defending One Piece, but you kept agreeing with a lot of people. So I would love to.
If Lilo says it right now, we throw hands right now.
No,
it's cool. It's cool. We can do it later. It's fine. I'm here all night. Like I can talk One Piece all night.
No, you weren't saying that a second ago.
Pope Pedro, wait, bro. Let him share, man.
It's not my stream.
Let him share, bro. Let him share.
It's Lilo's stream.
Let him.
What you want to do? Lilo, you call it.
Yeah, dude.
We can speak afterwards.
Yeah. Let Type share his points. Because the stream's been going on 3 hours. I got a few other things I got to do, so I want to hear what Type has to say, and then Lost Piece, and then afterwards, like, this chat will still be up, so you guys can talk.
Yeah, we can even move down after I'm done. Like, it's fine. Like, we can speak One Piece all day, all night. I just wanted to get clarification, because I think I thought I heard you say that or at least agreed in the video that the Straw Hats don't develop. Did you say that or no? Because if you did, I have nothing more to say.
Oh no, it was like he was saying that in post time skip the characters don't have any development anymore, and I was like, it's not much different than pre time skip. Like, there wasn't a ton of it pre time skip, and there's not a ton of it post time skip. But I'd honestly even argue there might be more post time skip for some of the Straw Hats at least.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that just most of the Straw Hats in general are static characters.
Yeah,
like they're already completed characters. They're not little kids that need to go through things they've already went through what they had to do to be the characters they are that we know. Like, that's why we see it in the backstory and stuff. Like, Luffy's a completed character, pretty much. Everyone is, and we're seeing how like the world how they react to the world, or how the world reacts to them. So they don't need to be like kids going through a bunch of stuff and changing and stuff. Their core beliefs and stuff is already instilled into them. They're already completed characters, essentially.
I agree, yeah. And it's like you see most of their change from like when they were kids to where they are like when they're first introduced. Like that, that's where like most of it happened.
Yeah, but people believe that static characters are bad characters. So I've heard that complaint a lot. You know, I'm the type that that looks at complaints all day. You know, I'm a shill. I'm a glazer, whatever. I defend One Piece. There's nothing bad about One Piece. But yeah, other than that, I'm nothing. Of course, I'm One Piece fellow. One Piece is great.
Yeah, no, One Piece, in my opinion, is actually getting better. Like, I don't think it ever fell off at all. I think, like, it legitimately just keeps getting better. That's how I view it. But I did want people to just share their takes, and I thought we'd get some interesting takes because, like, I'm mainly a Hunter x Hunter YouTuber, so, like, when I tell people that One Piece is my favorite manga, it just makes them angry. So I thought we would get interesting takes. I don't know. I think people had some valid points, but like my honest assessment out of everything I've heard today is like it's just like small nitpicks that don't really matter much. Most of the complaints I heard were small nitpicks, and the like big things that they do well just massively overweigh the small nitpicks. That's like me reading Jujutsu Kaisen and just complaining about the lack of story the whole time, which is, I mean, I mean, honestly, it's not even that. Like, it would be... That's bigger than that. I don't know. It's just, like... I think overall One Piece has way more good than it does bad. And there's almost no bad, for the most part.
Oh, yeah. I would say there's no bad at all. But, JJK, yeah, the plot is non-existent.
Yeah, it pretty much
cool
doesn't...
fights, though. I love the fights. They're cool, but... Yeah, no plot there.
That's like the same thing with Demon Slayer too. They both don't really have a plot. They're just like hype moments and aura farming, and that's the whole show.
Yeah, which is cool. Like, there's a genre for everyone. Like, it's, yeah. But like I think it's a lot of like the last guy, he said Zoro's family's in SBS, and it's like, why do you think they're in SBS? They don't matter.
Yeah, I don't really care about that either, to be honest. You know, it doesn't. I don't really care about.
It's just like, yeah, he didn't have like mad negative things to say, and people have these small things like you said, and it's like I don't even agree with the small stuff. But of course, you're gonna have your own opinions. Well, people can have their own opinions. I just think they're like I see people like were complaining about the side characters. Oh, I don't like this character. It's not just a One Piece thing. People do that for like other series like Bleach. No one cares about like most of the side characters in that show that I've seen. They really like Ichigo. It's the Ichigo show for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball. They like seeing Goku or Vegeta. If it's Krillin on the screen or or a couple other of the Z fighters that are not Goku, people aren't that excited to see them, etc. And I think people do that for One Piece as well. Oh, it's not the Straw Hats. Oh, we don't care about these side characters, but I'm just the type that tries to accept everything and look at the positive in all of it. And I think all the characters are great.
Yeah, I would say Oda actually does a good job with his side characters, better than most stories do. Like, he makes the side characters have like their own dreams and goals a lot of time, and develop as time goes on.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I was just saying like how you felt you needed to go to the balcony, and that's how I was feeling listening to this one. This stream here is just like, oh my god, like I want to speak, but it's, you know, everyone has a chance to speak and whatnot, and you know they're here to speak to you and not me, which is fine. It's just I could defend all this stuff, and I know you're not trying to be rude or anything, so you know very nice and letting people speak, but like no, it's like it's too much for me.
No, yeah, that's understandable. And I think I could have like pushed back on pretty much everything that was said. Like, I mean, yeah, I could have pushed back on pretty much every complaint that was said like a little harder, but I did want to just like hear what people had to say. But I know what you're talking about. I could have pushed back harder on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but Lost Weeks can go. That's all I had to say. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, thanks for sharing, man. And so Lost Piece, what's up, bro? Is there anything you'd like to share? Hello, Lost Piece, are you there?
Yes.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? I'm not sure if Lost Piece's mic is working. But that's okay. If your mic's not working, feel free to leave what you wanted to say in the YouTube comments. But all right, guys. I think that's where I'll end this portion of the stream. I'm just gonna hang around for a bit, like looking at the YouTube chat for a few minutes here. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. This was a fun one. This was super long. Like this plus the last one together was like 4.5 hours. So, all right, guys, that's it for this one. Thank you, guys. All right, chat. Ugh. This stream was so long. Took a very long time. Took a very long time, bro. Let me look at these YouTube comments here. Looks like everyone's just having their own like discussion here. Well, that's good. Yeah, I think that's about it for this stream. That's about it for this stream. What did you guys think about all that? I thought it was fun. You said, but Shanks did not come to save Luffy at Marineford. He came to stop the war. And Wano, he came for Blackbeard. It just so happened that Luffy was there. Yeah, that's true. I could have pushed back on that too. Reads 50 chapters. It sucks. Yeah. I liked it. Had a good time. That's good, man. Well, yeah, that's it for this stream then, dude. I mean, the consistent theme I noticed was like anyone who said One Piece had fallen off had not read all of it. That was, if I had just said as a prerequisite, hey, you can't share unless you've read all of One Piece, no one would have shared. So, the answer to the debate, did One Piece fall off? Not at all. Actually, just no, not at all. Even the people who like had complaints about it, they're just, it's not true. It didn't. It didn't. It just genuinely did not. If anything, you can make an argument that it's better than ever. Make more One Piece content. I want to, man, but like I have to pay attention to the numbers, dude, right? Because like, for example, if this was a Hunter x Hunter stream, we would have like at least like 70, 80 people in here right now. Like I think this stream peaked at 60 people, which was nice. But like my Hunter x Hunter streams, if I did this exact same concept, if I just replaced One Piece with Hunter x Hunter, this stream would have peaked at like 120. I would have had like twice as many people, and we'd still have like 60, 70 in here right now. So I have to be smart about that. And I didn't get, like, I'm just to be honest, you know, I have to just be smart about it, right? Like, when I do One Piece streams, I tend to get like 0 super chat questions. Like, no one asks me anything. No one, I almost get nothing out of it. So it's like I have to focus more on Hunter x Hunter for that reason. Yeah, Deadbird, I've been going for a minute. But yeah, chat, I like, the truth is, I like doing One Piece. I like talking about it. It's actually my favorite manga. But like, from a YouTube perspective, I get almost nothing out of it. So that's why I can't do it as much as I'd like to. But the truth is, it's like, if I was getting more views out of it or more super chats out of it, I would do it a lot more. But I spoke about this in one of my other streams. Like, I did a bunch of Zoro debates. Those were my lowest earning streams, period. Like, I did 3 different Zoro debates. Each one was like 2 or 3 hours long. I got 0 super chats. But if I just do a stream called like Hunter x Hunter Power Scaling Q&A, people will super chat me a bunch of questions and I'll have more views in it. So it's like, I just have to be smart. It's like, why would I do that, you know? So it's like, I love doing One Piece. I do these streams for fun because it's like, I know when I do them, I'm not going to make much money, most likely. So it's like, I just have to keep that kind of stuff in mind, you know? That's the real reason why I don't do One Piece streams every day. You said if you started making some small One Piece videos, maybe you'd get more One Piece fans. That's possible. Yeah, maybe. But there's also a chance I could just post them and then nothing happens. So it's like I just need to focus on like the things that are already doing well. But alright guys, I think that's it for this stream. Yeah, I need to focus more on Hunter x Hunter just because just genuinely I make way more money when I do that. So I have to focus more on that. Because it's like, bruh, when you do, like, look at how much time I put into this, right? This is 4.5 hours. And I gained, from Super Chats, I got $0. If I did 4.5 hours of Hunter x Hunter, I would have made a lot more money than this. A lot more than 0. So it's like, I just have to think about that from a logical standpoint. That's also why I'm probably just never doing a Zoro debate ever again. I put a lot of energy into that and got almost nothing out of it. So it's like, I just have to be smart about it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Aaron. That's it. That is the real reason, yeah. So, yeah, because like I've said, I like One Piece more than Hunter x Hunter, but I just have to be smart and post the things that people want to see from me. But yeah, so next video is going to be another Hunter x Hunter one. Any manga streams? Salium, thank you for the donation, bro. You didn't have to do that. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, though. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate the views. I appreciate the discussion. And I will see you guys on the next one.